Woo! Woohoo! Am I in queue? I think I'm in queue. I know what's happening. Or do I? Huh. I'm not hearing anything. That's interesting. Yeah, and I didn't hear her even through the StreamYard. So, okay. Well, do what you can do, and I will tap dance. Pendejo, welcome in. Having some technical problems with Shannon, Shannon's end. She's working on it with Dave Ayler. So I'm sure she'll be here as soon as she can. Let's see. Yikes, okay. Okay. So be ready if I toss to you. All right. Why am I not seeing the Facebook feed? Maybe something went haywire there too. Huh. Good morning, Hector. Having a few issues here. Let me. Wow. Yeah. All right. Pendejo, good morning. Something on Kawhi Leonard. Interesting. I'll click on that in a bit, but we're almost on, so I'll have to look at that at the break. Hector Gomez, good to see you. Guzzle some coffee while I have a chance. Let's see. I'm going to get out of that. Foam Foot 420, welcome. Yeah, Tracy, I will try to look at that Kawhi link here at the break, but especially because we've got some technical problems. The beginning of the show will be a little bumpier than normal. But bumpy's good. You want a bumpy ride. Turbulence on an airplane, as long as you don't die, it's all good. But when you die, then, yeah, that final little round of turbulence was rough. Here we go. Woo! Here it comes.
This is the Chris Duel Show.
You know the day destroys the night. Night divides the day. Try to run. The other side. We're gonna do this the other side.
Now, Chris Duel.
It is a big, big Thursday. The Masters gets underway in less than an hour. The first golfers will tee off. We got a big guest at 8:20, MLS Commissioner Don Garber. Fasten your seatbelts. It's going to be a bumpy ride, but bumpy rides are fun, are they not? Yes, they are. It is the Chris Duel Show with Shannon Salty Sweeney. Shannon, I see her on Facebook Live as we stream live video on AM 1300 The Zone and Ticket 760's Facebook pages. There's also a YouTube link. We were on Twitch yesterday. We're all over the place. And I know we had some technical issues earlier, Shannon. Can we hear you now?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
We're here. We're ready to roll.
Whoa. What a day. The Masters gets underway in less than an hour. You and I and Tanner Carlson are going to have a Masters player draft. We will each draft 3 players for bragging rights and most importantly for humiliation, which will probably be me, because you and Tanner are much more locked in to golf and professional golf than I am. But I cheat. I'm looking at what Andy Everett is posting on his Facebook. Andy picked his top 3 on Facebook.
I saw those. I don't know.
And who is I am? It's like Andy. Who is it?
I still don't know.
It's like, Andy, we don't all have a golf show at 8 a.m. on the radio.
I didn't realize there was a character limit on Facebook.
Yeah.
Shorthand that.
Yeah, I'm going to, during the break, I'm going to write him something snarky. So anyway, I just mentioned, Shannon, as you jumped into the cockpit, and welcome. Great to have you. Dave Ayler, your soundscape stylist, who behind the scenes with Shannon moments ago, bouncing off the walls to get Shannon on the air from Austin. But this is going to be fun. The whole show is going to be fun this morning. But at 8:20, we are really excited. MLS Commissioner and the man who toured the Austin FC Stadium yesterday, Don Garber, the soccer Don, will be joining us at 8:20.
I'm very excited. I'm very excited for the season. So you can see I'm totally mismatching today because I've got the Austin FC shirt on and then I've got my Masters hat on. But
the green in the Austin FC logo matches the green in the Masters baseball cap and logo.
And that's what I told myself as I got dressed in the dark.
So I think it works.
Yeah.
I think it works. Something that I'll get into at some point with you, Shannon. Maybe you saw it yesterday when I posted that Don Garber, the MLS commissioner, would be on with us today. There was at least one, and there were yeah, I know, but and it's funny. I was talking with somebody about this yesterday. There's a lot of soccer fans in San Antonio who are butthurt that Austin got an MLS team, and so far we have not.
That's fine.
And it's fine, but they're really vicious. Yeah. I mean, and you read. Yeah, we might read the tweet. I was like, how in God's name could you have Don Garber on your show after what he did to San Antonio? And I'm reminded, well, first of all, and I'll tell you what, I'm reminded of a great line from a spiritual text that I think is one of the greatest lines ever, and I'll get to that in a moment. But I would point out, and San Antonio, I love San Antonio. I'm a San Antonio guy. I want MLS soccer in San Antonio. But right now, it's in Austin. And we don't say, well, I'm not a Cowboys fan because I think we should have NFL in San Antonio. Yeah, I think we should have NFL in San Antonio. I'm not an Astros fan because we got the missions. I'm about the missions. No, you can, and actually you should support professional sports teams in your region and not just automatically decide you're not. Here's the line. And I think it's one of the greatest lines in any spiritual text ever. And I think you should live your life this way. And when you live your life this way, it has a positive impact on your life. There is a text called A Course in Miracles. And in this book, A Course in Miracles, you can Google it if you don't know about it, but there is a line in there that says, and you can apply this to your life, and I would apply it to San Antonio soccer fans who are butthurt. Here's the line. You can either have a grievance or a miracle. You cannot have both. And it works in life. You can walk around and go, oh, woe is me. And I saw this too. And Shannon, I hear this about the NFL and Jerry Jones. And I heard it about the Oakland Raiders owner as well. They just use San Antonio for leverage to go somewhere else and get a better stadium. So it's, if you're going to play small, If you're going to live in a woe is me universe, that doesn't do you any good. That is a grievance. You can choose to have a miracle. You can choose to love soccer in Austin and in San Antonio with San Antonio FC, and someday and make yourself irresistible. Make would and Shannon, I'll just ask
The more
you.
hate you throw, the more they're gonna
Yeah.
distance yourself
Would
themselves.
if San Antonio demonstrated itself as an irresistible soccer location, and I was the original PA announcer for the San Antonio Scorpions,
There you go.
pre San Antonio FC. I know a thing or two about soccer and soccer fans in San Antonio. There are great soccer fans in San Antonio, but you don't do anybody any good, and you don't do the future of soccer in San Antonio any good by being butthurt and being angry and mean and vicious. So anyway, Shannon, that's how I feel about the angry ones.
Yeah, I saw those tweets last night. I was a bit like, you're raining on my parade. He mentioned something about Mike Taylor having to split his allegiance. I wanted to chime in. You know, Chris is on in Austin too.
Exactly.
And the MLS being, it's like the NFL. I mean, we talk about it all.
Yeah.
So, obviously we'll focus pretty hard on Austin FC here, but the MLS is getting underway still during COVID. They're kind of an interesting thing because they're starting as COVID is, the vaccines are coming out more. More people are getting to the stands. They may get to the end of the season and have full fans in the stands.
Yeah.
That'd be my hope anyway.
That'd be cool.
And, I know the commissioner, I don't know if he's still here today, but I know he was here yesterday checking out the new stadium. So excited to ask him about that. Finishing touches going in over there before that first home game in June. But I'm very excited to talk to him, pick his brain a little bit, and then, like you said, the Masters, big day.
It is a big day, and we'll keep an eye on it because it's going to get underway at 7:00 our time. The first golfers will be out on the course. We will watch it closely, and right at that time, just after 7:00, along with Shannon, our resident golf enthusiast. It's kind of a tie between Shannon and Tanner Carlson. It's kind of fun to watch.
Probably played more golf.
Well, but
I've really never played golf, so I'm sure he's played more golf. If he's played
All right.
round, he's
But
got me beat there.
I think that probably makes it all the more interesting that you love it. I mean, you were out at Dell Match Play. You know a lot of the golfers on the tour. You're engaged. You like it a lot.
Strangely, y'all know I don't like bet, but strangely, I'm pretty good at picking a field of golfers.
Oh, we'll find out about that.
Because I've won this challenge before.
We will find out about that later today. In fact, in less than an hour, Tanner Carlson's going to come in here. Shannon, Tanner, and I will draft 3 golfers. Now, I was thinking about this, Shannon, and since you've won this before, you may have experience at this. What if one of your 3 golfers fails to make the cut? How is that handled?
Well, the way I heard, because I was listening to Taylor yesterday, and the way they do it, and I think this is a great way that we should probably do it, is you just add up all the money that your players won at the end.
Huh. Okay.
So you really want them to make the cut.
Yeah, that's one way to do it. I was thinking what you would do is whatever. So if he had 2 rounds, you would just in the 3rd and 4th round, you just double those rounds because obviously he didn't play well enough to make the cut, so you're not going to get a great score. So if the idea was because here's why
if you have a meltdown like a player that did make the cut and then all of a sudden they shoot 11 over.
Yeah, true. But it's like, what if you have one player who has a meltdown and doesn't make the cut, but at the same time you pick the winner? It's like you got the winner. It's like, and just like in your bracket, you picked Baylor to win the NCAA men's tournament. So we'll figure it out.
We'll get there.
We'll either go money. I mean, I don't want to do it exactly like Taylor's doing it. So maybe just based on that, we'll do it differently, just so that we're not, totally derivative. Don't want to do that.
And you can't talk Masters without talking Tiger. Big Tiger news.
Oh my goodness. You want to dive into that?
It has to come out the day before Masters.
That was peculiar, wasn't it?
It was officially released that the cause of Tiger's crash was excessive speeding. He was going, close to 85 miles an hour, which I believe was double the speed limit.
Yeah, 84 to 87. according to the LA
Apparently,
County
he
Sheriff.
knew that this was the cause of the crash. I mean, he probably knew it right when it happened,
Yeah.
but he was made aware by the investigators, and so he released a statement as this news came out. Statement didn't say much other than "thank you to my doctors." He did not say, "Oh yeah, I was an idiot. I was speeding."
And what I find interesting about all of it, Shannon, there will be no charges filed. Obviously, he
Yeah.
was going, 85-ish miles per hour in a 45 mile an hour zone around a curve. He was putting other people's lives at risk.
Yeah.
I just wonder if it were Chris Duel or Shannon Salty Sweeney or Dave Ayler, our soundscape stylist, who we'll introduce here in a moment, rounding that corner and doing exactly what he did in a big old SUV. Are they going to say, no charges will be filed? We're so sorry this happened to you.
Yeah.
I think they're going to nail you to the wall.
Or, is there any ticket for the speeding and any damages that he may have caused to like the side of the road or environmentally?
Man hours for Jaws of Life and rescue personnel to come out.
Yes.
I don't know.
Happy though that he is well enough to send out these little notes he has, and hopefully, I'm sure he'll be taking in the Masters.
Yeah.
And nitpicking from the top bottom the entire weekend.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong, I love Tiger Woods. I hate that this happened to him. Who among us has not sped and broken the speed limit law in a car? I mean, around a curve at 85 when it's a 45, not the best idea. But, as you know, Shannon, we talked about it. He was headed to a golf event to film something with Drew Brees. Maybe he was running late. Maybe he says, I know the road. I need to haul ass. I don't want to be late. Maybe that was going on.
He was late to a very important date.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know. And I've never been over there, so I don't know if he, like you said, he knew the road and he's like, no one's ever on this road at this hour.
Yeah, I lived, as you know, I lived in Southern California and kind of that Rancho Palos Verdes area where this happened. Windy roads, hills and windy roads.
To me, it sounds reminiscent of 2222 here in Austin.
Yeah.
Where long, windy, beautiful road, and unfortunately, some accidents have happened, most notably Cedric Benson. A car was turning and, his motorcycle was, they intersected and he's no longer with us because of that. And, always important to follow all traffic laws. I hate to be the mom right now, but.
Yeah, but it is. When something like this happens, like the Tiger Woods incident, we all need to look at our own lives and say, have I driven recklessly like this? And I'll bet you most of us have. Yeah. So
it's not worth it when you really lay it down.
No, you can lose everything in a blink of an eye. You can lose everything. And by the looks of that Tiger Woods SUV, I mean, dude is lucky to be alive. Apparently it was a very high-end car. Apparently it had really good airbags and a very good cockpit. But it would have been just horrible and tragic if we lost Tiger Woods. So there is that. There is more Deshaun Watson news we will get into this morning, Shannon, as you know.
From one Nike athlete to another.
Oh, you're right. Yeah. One Nike athlete to now one former Nike athlete as he's being dropped by the Dr. Dre Beats headphones as well.
Beats and HEB dropped him. Right now, his contract with Nike is not being renewed. So I guess they're leaving that option open. And now with Tiger, when he was going through his thing, was there a pause on his Nike stuff? Like they wouldn't, he was doing his statements and they were like, don't.
I don't recall. And because Tiger is so big that if Nike, and someone can correct me on this if I'm wrong, but my feeling is if Nike would have left him at that point, and he's so powerful, and I think Nike hoped that he would come back, and indeed he did. But if you would have angered Tiger, he could have gone elsewhere, and he was still, and even when it was ugly, with his wife and the crash and the infidelity, there were still just huge Tiger Woods lovers across America who still loved, that Nike swoosh and the gear that he wore. So we got to look that up, but I don't think Nike abandoned him in that hour.
I do remember like the black and white Nike commercial that came out kind of shortly after all of that.
Yes.
That was like,
yeah. Well, and that was brilliant too.
Not typical, but
it wasn't typical, but everybody was watching it. Everybody talked about it, and it was Nike. So it actually, in a weird way, kind of worked out for Nike as far as
maybe why they're on hold with Deshaun Watson and not cutting all ties, because nothing has been, it's all speculation right now.
yeah.
And he is a really great football player and does have great potential.
Yeah, but man, if any of this is true, oh my God. All right, let's quick break coming. But Dave Ayler, once again, and at least I get it in the first segment. You are wearing on Facebook Live. People can see it. Congratulations, your 2019 Stanley Cup Championship T-shirt for the St. Louis Blues. Very cool T-shirt, sir.
Thank you very much. I was going to wear something Cardinals for the Cardinals home opener today, but all that stuff's in the wash. So
how are the Cardinals doing? They were like 4-2 or something. They're as they usually are. They're good.
They swept the Marlins.
Yeah.
So they did terrible against the Reds. I think they were 1-2 going into the Marlins series, and I swept the Marlins. So I think they're with 4-2. I think.
All right, we'll check it out. Lots going on. Top of the hour. Tanner Carlson, and we will have our draft of golfers from the Masters. I will
find out who I am is.
Yeah, who the God? He said he was second in November. So whoever was second in the Masters.
November is like a year ago at this
Come on, Andy. We don't all have a golf show and know every single golfer's initials. Gonna give Andy crap next time we get him on, which might even be tomorrow because the Masters is underway. If not, we'll get him on Monday. Don Garber, the MLS commissioner. Don't forget, that'll be a very interesting conversation. Less than 2 hours away at 8:20. Dave Ayler making the show go. She is Shannon Salty Sweeney. I'm Chris. Thanks for hanging out with us. We appreciate it. And we're streaming live video as usual on AM 1300 The Zone, Ticket 760's Facebook pages, and YouTube, and who knows, maybe even Twitch once again. It's the Chris Duel Show. Jared Taylor, what up? Ralph Balderas. Hector Gomez. Pendejo. All right, Pendejo. And I'm going to try to go get some coffee, but I'll try to look at what you sent me about about Kawhi. Excuse me. We were talking Tiger. And Shannon, for some reason, I can't hear you during the breaks. I can't hear you on this. I'm doing everything I know how to do.
Can you hear me now?
Oh, yes, I can. Okay. That's probably
Yeah,
fine.
I hadn't switched my mic.
Okay.
I switched my mic during the breaks.
So we're cool. All right. All right. I'll be right back. I did the Spurs game last night. It was 30 minutes later than usual because it was in Denver. So I am dragging. I got like 3 hours of sleep last night, which is more than sometimes when it's a late West Coast game.
What up, Jared? resident YouTuber, along with Foam Foot.
Good morning, Anthony Del Toro. Pendejo says Nike stood by Tiger Woods during a lost decade for the golfer when a sex scandal and physical ailments derailed his career and prompted sponsors from Gillette to Gatorade to drop him. On Sunday, the apparel giant's loyalty was rewarded when he won the Masters back in, was that 2019, 2018? Clint Proctor, good morning. I do not know what Warren Zevon said about sleep.
Oh, so I think the golfer is, I don't know how to pronounce his name, but Im Sung Jae.
Ah, okay.
So I think that's where the confusion is, because his initials aren't really IM.
Okay.
T and JS, those are their initials.
SJM. Okay. Tied for second. I'll sleep when I'm dead. There you go, Pendejo. The older I get, the tougher it is to survive on little sleep. It really knocks me for a loop, and then it has a lingering effect, because on the weekend I try to catch up on my sleep, and so I'll sleep 8-10 hours a night on, depending if there's not a Spurs game, and there's always a Spurs game. There's never 2 nights in a row without a Spurs game. So I'll try to catch up on my sleep on the weekends, and I'm still I on Sunday, and I wake up Monday, and I am just dog tired. I tell people I've been tired since February of 2020 when we started the mornings. Yeah, Pendejo, I'm not built for 4.5 a night. I need 8 or 9. LeBron James does 10 hours a night because he knows
That's
that
a
the
lot.
body heals itself on a cellular level when you sleep. Shannon, we'll probably start with the poll question here.
Perfect.
Okay. Justin Fields is going to have a second pro day. That's interesting. Oh, I got to send an email. I should have done that. I'm going to run out of time probably, but let me see if I can do it. Welcome back to the Chris Duel Show. Music provided by your soundscape stylist, Dave Ayler. Dave, I'm not recognizing that. What are we listening to? That's Triumph. How dare I? What the heck is wrong with me? Never Surrender. Is that for Tiger? Is that for Deshaun Watson? Is that for the Spurs? Is that for... Yeah. Oh, my God. Spurs were up by 10 with 6:42 left in the third quarter last night. And then Denver went on an 11-0 run and wound up just blowing them out. We'll talk a little Spurs a little bit later. But and Shannon, your Dallas Mavericks lost last night, so it was a chance for the Spurs to pick up a game on Dallas. But no, didn't happen. Tough night for the Spurs. They played Denver again. Same place, same time, Friday night. So hopefully.
Dallas got to him. Couldn't hold on.
I don't, NBA players are so darn in such great shape.
Right.
So
it's inside.
Yeah, I don't necessarily believe. And Denver was on a back-to-back. Denver had played the night before. Granted, the Spurs had to travel, but it's rough for the Spurs. It is rough. All right. As we mentioned, Don Garber, the commissioner of Major League Soccer, going to join us at 8:20. He was in Austin yesterday, inspecting the new stadium, getting everything ready for Austin FC and their debut in the league, and of course their home opener a little bit further down the line. And it led us to today's poll question, Shannon.
Yes, it did. What kind of Austin FC fan or MLS fan will you be? Our options today: super fan, big fan, moderate fan. I won't be a fan. Currently, I won't be a fan. 61%. I think we got some haters.
See, I think, and we talked about this earlier, I think those are, and I'm one of you. I'm a San Antonian. I'm Puto San Antonio people, but I think those are butthurt San Antonio fans who can't see the big picture, who can't understand that you can have joy. My God, when the Cowboys win, I am in a joyful, blissful state. When the Houston Astros win, I am in a joyful, blissful state. I love it when the Texas Longhorns win, as long as they don't play my USC Trojans. I did go to that game a few years ago when they played the home and away. So the Trojans won at the Coliseum in LA. Then the next year, Trojans came to Austin. So I was in attendance and broke my heart. Texas kicked their butt in Austin the next year.
I just have a hard time, like what's the San Antonio FC, like those fans, okay, you get an MLS team, then what are you going to do about San Antonio FC?
Well,
are they going to crumble? Are they going to move? Are you going to support both
no,
of them?
the thought was they would, the thought was,
Bring 'em up.
and what we heard from Spurs Sports and Entertainment was, and the reason they were established originally, at least this was what some people were saying, and people who were seemingly in the know were saying was, it's Spurs Sports and Entertainment. It's run by the Spurs. Here's San Antonio FC. We will just get we'll get MLS and we will just upgrade San Antonio FC to MLS. That was the thought, and that was the hope for San Antonio soccer fans.
So we have I believe they're the Austin Bolt or something of that sort who play out at Coda. I'm not exactly sure what league they play in, but there were a lot of people that I guess were upset that they either weren't going to be the MLS team or that Austin FC. I don't know.
Come on.
So far out, and this stadium is perfectly placed in the middle of town. Great part of town, up and coming part of town. It's an incredible stadium. I can't wait to get Don's take on the insides because he's gotten to see all the details.
And that was one of the, and it was a little bit of a hang up for San Antonio. Don Garber, who's been the MLS commissioner since 1999. In fact, I got to Google it. I think that makes him the longest tenured commissioner in major professional sports, certainly in America. But he has always been adamant about, if you want a franchise, you need a stadium-specific, you need a soccer-specific stadium. There was some talk at one time where San Antonio said, hey, we got the Alamo Dome. We have these international friendlies with Mexico and Spain, or Mexico and Team USA, and we get a ton of people, so why not? And Don Garber has always said, nope, it's got to be a soccer-specific stadium. Now, the Scorpions, which were originally founded by Gordon Hartman, and I was a part of that effort with Gordon and worked for the Scorpions as the PA announcer for a couple of years. They have a soccer-specific stadium that it's expandable. So in other words, in its first incarnation, did not have enough seats for MLS, but they built it in such a way where we can upgrade it down the line if we get a team. So there are people who are not happy, and I get it, but you have a choice now. You can either remain disgruntled, you can remain unhappy, or you can enjoy Austin FC. It's MLS. It's closer than Houston. It's closer than Dallas. It can be your MLS team, and San Antonio FC can be your team in their league and be irresistible. Keep being a soccer fan, and someday, if they can't resist you, and if soccer is huge in San Antonio, then if you build it, they will come. I've always believed that.
Yeah, and as far as I know, there's no one in Austin saying only Austinites can be fans. I think we want all. We want this to be the biggest thing ever. We want all of Texas to be in on Austin FC. The only rivalry we have right now is, I would say, with the Galaxy, just because Will Ferrell made the dig at Matthew McConaughey calling us the Cactuses.
That is kind of cool.
When it started,
Will Ferrell and Matthew McConaughey, who stood on opposite sidelines in the Rose Bowl.
And I believe Ferrell is actually, I don't know if I know he's a huge fan of the Galaxy. I don't know if he has any ownership in it, but they're back at it again, and I love it. See, and
I would think over time that a rivalry would almost certainly develop with Houston FC and with Dallas FC. I mean, it just seems the Texas teams should duke it out and should.
And they've recently played both teams just in this last week as for some pre-season games, and yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing that.
Yeah. So Don Garber, the MLS commissioner at 820, fascinating guy. And again, I do believe, because it's not the baseball commissioner, it's not the football committee, it's not. Adam Silver is relatively new to David Stern. So yeah, he's been around since 99. This is 2021 for his 22nd year as the commissioner of Major League Soccer. He's doing something right. He's got longevity. It's one of the things we'll ask him about. How do you last 22 years as a commissioner in a major sport in America?
So I'm seeing that maybe the NHL commissioner.
Ooh, See, I'm not a big hockey guy.
93.
Oh, Don Garber, you got to hang in there, and we got to get that NHL commissioner to croak. Exactly. All
You don't
right.
need to die, Chris.
Yeah. No, well, I will ask him the question. Don, do you have a voodoo doll of the NHL commissioner? Do you wake up in the morning and stick pins in the voodoo doll? Probably not. It's a thought. What a scoop if he said yes. What a scoop if he revealed his voodoo doll.
I'd need pics, though.
Yeah. So, and I feel bad, Shannon, because it's a big story. I have seen clips of Aaron Rodgers hosting Jeopardy, and I must tell you, kind of lackluster. Not exactly oozing charisma.
You know, it's like, I feel bad for him almost because, like we've said, they record multiple shows in one day. So it's not like he's getting this feedback and then he can maybe use some of it to change things up or try to improve. Like, it's already in the books. Like, it's all done. There's no, so I'm sure in his mind through these next, how many shows, like 7 shows that he has left for this little run, that he's like, damn it, they're going to hate this moment or they're going to get me on this one. So we'll see.
Well, and one of the clips I saw was San Antonio centric. The category was famous American Latinos. And the answer was something along the lines of these 2 brothers from San Antonio. One was the mayor and the HUD secretary. And one was, and they said their names, and this is where he got me because I said, dude, learn how to pronounce it. One was the HUD secretary and the mayor of San Antonio. The other has been a congressman from San Antonio since 2013. One is named Joaquin, and one is named Julian. It's like, dude, Aaron, it's Julian Castro. He was in the cabinet. He was I think one of the, if you're going to be the next Alex Trebek, in a country that is, and this is why, Shannon, we're going to do the all Spanish show with AD eventually on either Cinco de Mayo or Diez Seis, the entire show in Espanol. In fact, I want Julian Castro and Joaquin Castro on the show when we do it.
We'll need some filler.
And I will pronounce their names correctly, unlike Aaron Rodgers. That's true. He did not say Julian. Which, by the way, has great pizza. There's a place in San Antonio, Shannon, Julian's.
Okay.
There's 2 locations. There's one on West Avenue, and there's one in Sunset Ridge. And Julian's, great. They've got great eggplant and spaghetti, but they've got great pizza. And I've met Julian.
Oh, there you go.
They should sponsor the show. Come on, Julian.
Yeah.
I'm going to call you Julian if you don't sponsor the show.
Well, while we're on Aaron Rodgers, just a quick comment about Mr. Scott, who, of course, asked whose decision was it to kick the field goal, because he's become America's sweetheart of the week. He said he knew the answer, but he wanted to
troll. Wow.
Which,
I give him props. And again, you didn't have the answer, so you could
win anyway.
Yeah, so you could either just say something lackluster and just move on, or you could have your moment, do something memorable, entertain us. So I like it.
It worked. Congratulations.
Woo!
Mr. Scott.
Woo, woo, woo. So do we know who the next guest host of Jeopardy is going to be after our good friend Aaron Rodgers?
I don't. I'm not that in tune.
But
I'm
I mean,
sure they won't get nearly as much pub as Rodgers is getting for it, though.
But the hubris of Aaron Rodgers to think that he's got the personality, and you've said this all along since we've seen him attempt it, Shannon, he just doesn't have the personality. But I imagine if you're Aaron Rodgers, you're one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. We could argue NFL history. He's a surefire Hall of Famer, has a Super Bowl ring, and he's had his pick of whatever women he wants to date. He's dated some very remarkable, high-profile women, so he probably figures, I see. That's why I think pro athletes become rappers. You see so many like NBA players and pro athletes. Even Cole Beasley, former Cowboy, now with your buddy at center, the Buffalo Bills. Cole Beasley dropped a rap album.
The Central Texas area during the offseason.
Yeah, it's like you can't, just because you're really, really good at one thing doesn't mean you're going to be really, really good at all things, including things you really love, like rap music.
retrospect, the outlet though is I'd rather you be doing that in your free time than
Then
maybe taking part in other extracurriculars that
You
some
talking about Deshaun? You talking about Deshaun Watson?
I'm not naming names. I'm
sure.
not naming extracurriculars, but if you want to go there, I'm not going to say no to that.
Wow. Again, I think Deshaun Watson's only hope, Shannon, I do believe where there's smoke, there's fire. There are now 22 accusers. There are now accusers putting their face and their name to the accusations. They're not all remaining anonymous anymore. I really believe that his only hope is just a complete mea culpa. And again, and here's something as well. That's like why pro athletes go and rap, because nobody in his circle is telling him no. You know, the people who work for him, the people who are in his group that he grew up with or from Clemson, they're probably all, whatever he wants to do. It's like, Deshaun, you're right. Woo. As long as I can be on this gravy train and party with you, it's good. Yeah, Deshaun, you're. So there's probably not somebody in his inner circle who can say, Deshaun, you got to do some serious damage control. If you ever want to play football again, you need to settle with these women, pay them whatever money they require, and you need to publicly apologize, and you need to tell America, I have a problem. I have a sexual problem. I am a sex addict. I did things that were wrong and inappropriate. I am going into therapy. I am taking a year off from the NFL, which you're probably going to get a year off anyway, whether you want to take it or not with a suspension. But if you are contrite in this country, I think we're willing to welcome you back. If he just refuses to admit this, and yet all the evidence damns him, I don't think any NFL team's going to want him back.
You're right. And the NFL is a league that has brought people back, you know, the Michael Vicks and, you know, other people who have come, Jameis Winston, who's been through his own.
True.
Ben Roethlisberger.
Yeah.
So in a way, it is a forgiving league, but you have to admit some wrongdoing and act upon that and prove you're better for it. I just the idea though that he then pays these women and that to me is still such an admission of guilt.
Yeah.
That and for how many it is, because Jameis, it was what, an Uber, it was one Uber driver.
Yeah.
You know,
well, and you know, we don't like to talk about this, but
serial behavior. Kobe
Bryant in Colorado, he found a way to come back from that and settle out of court with the woman and became beloved. I mean, before his awful, tragic death, we still loved Kobe. He was able to come back and be a beloved American athlete and making movies, winning an Oscar, doing all kinds of things, and being a good dad.
The timing of that versus where we are now.
Yes, true. You're right. Yeah. Social media, huge point. And the Me Too movement had not happened yet. Social media was not on fire. Yeah, that's a big deal. All right, coming up, big moment. Tanner Carlson, golf expert. Shannon Salty Sweeney, golf expert. Chris Duel, golf doofus, will draft 3 players each for the Masters for bragging rights. Oh, and some sort of a bet that we're going to have to come to an accord on.
Okay.
Some sort of public humiliation for the losers.
And I was like, that costs money. I can't do that.
Okay. Don't want to fork over money.
Working radio still.
Yeah, that's true. All right. Tanner Carlson next. We'll talk Masters. Oh, and 7:00. They're going to tee off in just a few minutes. We'll keep you updated on the Masters all morning long. Don Garber at 8:20. We're with you till 9 on the Chris Duel Show. All right. Oh, I need my cheat notes on who I can draft. So, Shannon, unless you want to go third and benefit from the snake to go 3 and 4, my thinking is Tanner and I should be gentlemen. I'm old school. I'm chivalrous. I believe the lady should go first. Tanner, a guest on the show. Tanner second. I'll go third. But I'm open to doing it another way. I mean, since you're there, it's kind of hard for us to draw straws or something.
Sorry, Chris. Dave was talking to me. What was that?
Oh, okay. So, all right, on the order of the draft, and I'm open to anything, but I thought to simplify, Tanner and I should be gentlemen and have you go draft first. I would then have Tanner go second because he's a guest of the show, and then me third. However, since it's a snake draft, you may or I may benefit, or you may benefit by going third and fourth. But so I'm open to anything. But do you have any thoughts on order?
No, I don't. I mean, it's such a large field that I think we'll all have we're only picking 3, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah.
All right, I've got a cheat from Andy again here. Let me see. SJM. I'm going to put him into my mix just because Andy's a believer. Where's the rest of Andy's?
Clint, that is a fantastic thing about being a teacher. But I hope prior to streaming the Masters on your 65-inch, you have us pulled up.
Yes.
So we get the kiddos involved in the show.
Woo.
We love the children's.
We're all about the children.
We're all about engaging with the youth.
Why we're now on Twitch.
Yeah. With the emoticons.
Okay, where is... I think Andy Everett had Dustin Johnson first.
Oh, really? I thought I went with JT.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm pulling it up again. Yep. I am second, Spieth third.
You just taking his picks?
Burger ever? Then make it.
No, I'm not. I've got reams of research I've been doing.
And eating nothing but cheese till you find the perfect slice.
Bubba Watson, Sergio Garcia, Dustin Johnson.
Did you see
cooking day and night until you got paid.
Bubba Watson's shoes?
I have not.
I opened TikTok yesterday and it was the first thing that popped up, first little video, and he has custom Jordans with that are white, and then the bottom is like a metallic Masters green.
Wow.
They're pretty sparkly.
Yeah, Bubba Watson was on Dan Patrick yesterday, and he said the brand of watch, I've never heard of it, but he wears these like $300,000 watches. And
Of course he does.
Dan Patrick asked him how many he had at the house. He said 13. And he says he's given them away before to caddies and stuff. And it's like, why do you have 2 wrists? Why do you need 13 of these watches at
Where
home?
does he live, and what's his address? So we can
Exactly. Yeah, that's
so ceramic, a Richard Mille, and they're rubber ceramic, so he can golf with it, I guess.
yeah. And it's funny. Patrick said Richard Mille, and Bubba Watson, apparently it's Richard Mille. So it's like, it's not, not the pronunciation we would even know because we're not into it.
They make a $825,000 version. That's
wow.
insane. And it's made of rubber.
It's a little much.
Talk about paying for a name.
When people get like carjacked, when they've got the ridiculous watches that are worth a ton of money, it's like, you know what? You were kind of asking for it. I mean, I just need a Fitbit. I don't get it. Oh, I need the tripod for Tanner. I don't have it in here yet. Tripod. Carlos Noel Gomez Jr. with his picks. Very nice. Remember those, Carlos, and those will still be here on this video. If you are correct, if you want bragging rights, you can take a screenshot and we will get you in here on Monday if you nail it. There he is. Tanner Carlson, everybody.
I had to get my big board, my draft board.
Yeah, I've got all my research from this morning.
Man, you did all that research?
Yeah.
I just looked at best odds to win it.
Well, see, you know these guys. You and Shannon are hardcore. I need all the help I can get.
You know, it is interesting though because certain golfers now Tiger doesn't matter. You know, the big names, Speed and DJ and all those guys. Those kind of things don't really matter, but there are certain players that play better on a long course. There's certain players that play better where your short game needs to be better, or putting is, you know. So some courses fit with golfers.
Okay.
Better.
Yeah.
You know, so you know, it's just kind of like a football team. You know, if it's a rainy, cold, windy day, a run team is more likely, or a defensive team is going to be more likely to succeed than an air raid.
Yeah.
Pass happy offense. So
Good point. So I was thinking on order. I was thinking we will be gentlemen. We'll be chivalrous. So we'll let Shannon go first.
okay.
And then you're a guest of the show, so it would be wrong for me to go second. So you go second, I'll go third,
Okay.
if that works for you.
That's and then are we going to go snake draft?
I think snake
And then
makes
you
sense.
go-
So I'd go 4.
You'll go 4.
Yeah.
5.
Yes.
That works.
If that works for you.
It-
The other thing, and I don't necessarily want to do it exactly like Mike Taylor does it. They do money. You add up who won the most money, and that's your winner of your 3. I'm thinking the big question is if somebody doesn't make the cut, then we have an issue. Because what if you had one guy that didn't make the cut, but you also had the winner?
yeah.
So I'm thinking we can double whatever their first 2 rounds were. That also becomes their net because it's going to be crappy.
Yeah. Okay.
So it's so. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Can you send it to my personal email again? Sorry, my
Oh,
phone
yep.
still isn't hooked
Let
up
me
to
hurry.
Email. I keep forgetting about that.
That's cool.
I should've warned you.
Okay, personal email. Copy. I should
In there.
just give me the beginning of it and it'll probably auto fill.
Awesome.
Tanner. 719.
Yes.
Okay. Here it comes.
I just chose kind of my favorites that I like. I think who's kind of been playing. Who's the hottest right now? I'm actually working on a pretty fun story on WOAI.
Yeah.
I had an interview yesterday about it. Just politics and sports merging.
Oh, nice.
And just the fact that it's not a new thing.
No, but
It's been happening forever.
yeah, but it's probably going to intensify now because we're so polarized. I wouldn't be surprised if it got really, really worse.
Yeah.
Here we come.
But it's a fun little story.
Cool. All right, I need your mic. The first golfers are beginning to tee off at the Masters, and we will keep an eye on it throughout the morning, see who the early leaders may be. Welcome in. It is the Chris Duel Show along with Shannon, Salty, Sweeney, and the time has come to put our money where our mouths are, although I guess the bet is not going to be money related. But we have two golf experts, Shannon, Salty, Sweeney, and Tanner Carlson, and we've got, thank you, Dave Ayler, with the official sound. Our first guest to have an official sound.
That's awesome.
Tanner Carlson,
I'm
pretty exciting.
I'm very pleased with that. I'm excited about that.
You need to start using that on 1200 WOAI. You ought to go, reporting for 1200 WOAI. I'm Tanner Carlson.
Tanner Carlson.
I can make that happen,
Oh, yeah, he can. He
I
can.
like it.
He has all the power in the world to do that.
You have your own signature thing.
Yeah. Wow.
So, all right, so we need the ground rules. We are each going to draft three golfers. And then I'm thinking, Shannon, then we'll add up the totals, and whoever has the lowest total of the three will be the champion. Now, the big X factor, if someone doesn't make the cut, then I think you need to replicate their rounds on subsequent rounds that they're not playing in, which are going to be crappy anyway. So if you've got a golfer who doesn't make the cut, that's going to really hurt your chances of winning this thing.
Right.
But you might also have the champion. So, Shannon, you cool with that?
I'm good with it.
Woo.
Yeah, that works.
Tanner Carlson, your thoughts as we do you feel like a tremor in the force knowing that within the last 8 minutes golfers have taken to the course at Augusta?
Yeah, it just feels like it. I've got a smell of pimento cheese in the air. It's just like there's something in the air right now that's happening, and I love every second of it.
Now, I know a guy, in fact, a lot of people in San Antonio know him, David Chancellor, a TV guy on News 4 San Antonio.
Yeah.
Insanely into the Masters. He would take days off. I mean, he would always take those days off, watch him at home, and he would make pimento cheese sandwiches.
Yeah.
So he would want. Do you do that? Do you actually consume pimento cheese sandwiches during the Masters?
I don't, because I'm not a fan of pimento cheese. That's really probably only reason why I don't. I might make me a grilled cheese sandwich, but American cheese.
But that's not authentic.
It's not. It's the child, kindergarten version of pimento cheese. But that might be the most I do. But no, I'm a big fan of Mr. David Chancellor. I think he does a great job for WOAI.
I think he's amazing.
He's fantastic. Yeah.
So Shannon, last night we were exchanging texts with Tanner, and the original idea from Tanner was whoever loses, you got to get your most hated team and you've got to wear their gear for a week. So I guess for me, that would have been the Dallas Mavericks. For you, it would have been the Texas Aggies, Shannon. And for Tanner, we were thinking the Washington football team.
Yeah.
I could not stomach wearing Washington football team gear.
And I don't look good in maroon or that burgundy color, whatever burgundy, red color and gold. And especially like yellow and gold, it doesn't go good with my skin complexion or anything. My eyes don't pop. So it would have been a bad week for Tanner for sure.
So, but Shannon, we decided that's going to cost a lot of money, and we got to order the gear, and you got to wait, and so
it wouldn't have been an immediate thing.
Yes.
Like, not only do you pay for it, you pay for something you'll never use again.
Yeah. Yeah. So like one time I had a bet that that the Warriors were going to beat the Cleveland Cavaliers and LeBron James was going to lose his 7th finals in a row or whatever the absurd number it was that he had lost in a row. And then that was the one year where Cleveland won the finals. And so I bought a child's jersey, like an extra large child jersey. So it was a little cheaper.
Yeah.
Kept the receipt, took the picture, put it on my profile picture, and then immediately returned it. I didn't even leave the parking lot.
That is
I'm
tremendous.
surprised you even bought it. You just didn't take it into the dressing room.
That's probably would have been a better thing. Yeah, definitely.
So one more thing, Shannon and Tanner, we have to come to an accord on. So now, what is it? Social media profile pic? Is it Twitter only? Is it how do you want to do? Because there will be 2 losers here. So how do we do the how will the losers be dealt with?
Shannon?
Well, I think Twitter is of the 3 of us are most used and most common.
Yeah, we're active.
So yeah, maybe we stick to like what Chris and I did for Spurs Mavs, and just you got to change your profile pic to your most hated teams.
And every single you should have to end every single tweet with hashtag I love Mavericks or I love the Aggies or gig 'em or whatever. Mavs fan for life, MFFL for you.
Yeah.
For I don't even know. Washington's so lame that they don't even have a hashtag.
Yeah, I guess it used to be hail to the.
Yeah. Is it not still that?
Well, since they're no longer called the R word, it was hail to the blanks.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
so
they just use the W.
Yeah.
Every time I see W,
you have to think about it.
WFT, I'm like, am I saying
the other?
So am I. Every time I see it, my first thought is that.
I'm like, Schefter, dude, there's children on your account, man. Take it easy
exactly.
on the WTFs, man. Yeah.
So how long do the losers have to change their profile pic on Twitter?
I think a week.
I think
1 week. So starting Monday
for a full week. So from Monday to next Monday.
Monday to the next Monday. Shannon, do you agree to that?
Yes.
I will agree to that.
We'll virtual shake on it.
There will be 2 losers for Shannon. It's got to be an Aggie related profile pic for me. It's got to be Dallas Mavericks. Sadly, I've already got that. So I lost to Shannon already not long ago, and it'll be Washington football team for Tanner. Now, Dave Ayler, if we're going to have a draft, we need some special draft music. You got any? There you go. From Caddyshack, I'm All Right by Kenny Loggins. Shannon Salty Sweeney, you are on the clock. We will each draft 3 golfers for the Masters and ultimate bragging rights.
All right. I'm going to do it. And I know it's really hard to win the Masters back-to-back unless your name is Tiger Woods. But I'm going to go with Dustin Johnson here. I think he's playing exceptionally well. I don't know that'll win, but I think he'll play exceptionally well. So,
all right.
Her first overall pick and the first overall pick in the 2021 Masters draft is Dustin Johnson.
And he's the number 1 player in the world. So, I mean, that's warranted.
Tanner, you are on the clock, sir.
All right. I'm going to go with my guy. I'm not going to not pick my Texas Longhorn. I'm going with the hottest player on the PGA Tour and last week's Valero Texas Open champion, Jordan Spieth. And
you did declare on Tuesday's show that he would win the Masters. Yes. We got to go. If it happens, we got to go find that audio.
I won't hate it.
As well. Yeah.
I won't hate it.
Okay, so now we're doing a snake draft, so I get 3 and 4. Mm-hmm. Let's see. Spieth is gone. Dustin Johnson is gone. I'm gonna go Justin Thomas. I'm gonna go Andy Everett on that.
That was my
completely chalk in round 1.
Yeah, my top 3 picks that I have on my big board are all gone.
Yeah, I'm about to go non-chalk though. Now this I should have just symbolically made this guy my first pick. I think he's getting no respect. Everybody says, "Oh, you're just this big Hulk who hits the ball." Good luck with that. You can't putt, but he can. Bryson DeChambeau is my second round pick.
I mean, let's just hope he makes a day today and he didn't throw his back out.
Did you see those warm-up shots?
What is that?
Oh my gosh! Did you see those?
I did.
Pointing at you, do something ridiculous.
Yeah. It's like he snorted his pre-workout. Goodness. The guy's back isn't going to last more than 2 years.
Where's his mother?
That's a good question.
But you're right. If his back isn't thrown out today, he'll
have a shot.
I think he is going to have a good tournament.
He'll at least get the ball to the green.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
What he does with it from there.
I'd love to see him win it just because he is so controversial.
Right. Yeah.
We already had Patrick Reed.
People hate him or people love him.
Yeah.
You're right. Okay. I guess it's me.
It is you, Tanner. Your number 2 pick.
I guess I'm going to stick with the home team. I'm going with another Longhorn.
Wow.
Last year's PGA Rookie of the Year. I'm going to go with Scotty Scheffler.
Wow.
Yep.
Good pick.
I think he was in the final running, or he won the Dell match play. Was it second? I finished second, and he hasn't won a PGA. He hasn't won a PGA event yet in his career. And what a story it would be for him to get the Masters.
That'd be a crazy good story. So to recap, Shannon began drafting Dustin Johnson. Tanner then took Jordan Spieth. It's a snake draft, so I had 2 picks, Justin Thomas and Bryson DeChambeau. And moments ago, Tanner chooses for his second Masters golfer of 3, Scotty Scheffler. Shannon Salty Sweeney, you are on the clock.
All right. Well, I'm going to now be surprised if Tanner doesn't take the 3rd Longhorn in his draft here today. But his odds aren't as great as some other people, so maybe not. All right. I've got to go with this guy because a lot of people have been picking him throughout the year, and I've always just kind of avoided him to do something different. But because we're doing a snake draft and we're not overlapping players, I am going to take Mr. John Ram.
Oh, there it is.
And with the snake draft, so do you want to justify that pick? Why do you take him, Shannon?
He performs well. He's really consistent, and again with this style of bet we have going on, I just think I need a consistent guy who's going to shoot a low score, and I think he can do that for me. And finally,
yes,
I got to go with my guy. I've been with him all year, the OSU graduate. No, not Ricky Fowler.
Ooh.
That guy doesn't win majors. He wears orange on Sundays. Bright orange, not even the right color orange.
Yeah, just bright colors.
Mr. Matthew Wolf.
There it is.
She likes that guy
all year. I love that guy. I watched him play with Spieth a couple weeks ago at the Dell match play. He's got some pretty decent odds. I think he was either 90-1 or 60-1 to win the Masters. So yeah, I like him as my sleeper pick here, and I like him as just kind of my general new favorite.
And
Matthew Wolf.
I also 100% agree with Shannon when it comes to just consistent play. And the way that we are setting this up, you've got to have someone who's just not all over the board in terms of you have no idea what he's going to shoot. So I'm going to go with Mr. Consistent here. A dark horse in my opinion, and I just think this guy is a absolute machine when it comes to striking the ball. I don't think he ever mishits a ball. Hasn't gotten a lot of wins, but he's always on the top of the leaderboard. I'm going to go with Colin Morikawa.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I just think
hot name.
He's playing very well of recent weeks. He's playing very well, and he's just the way he strikes the ball is just it's almost automatic. At least to be on the fairway and give himself an opportunity to close out
into those trees.
Yeah,
the Masters.
Yeah. So I'm going with Morikawa.
Final pick in the draft. I'm leaning. Andy Everett said second on his list is SJM from South Korea. I know nothing about him. He was tied for second in the Masters in November, but I know nothing about him. But I do know Andy Everett knows his golf.
There you go.
So should I trust the soup? Should I trust the expert?
Is that an unfair advantage that you have Andy Everett on speed dial?
Well, no, he posted this on Facebook.
Oh, okay.
He posted this last night publicly on Facebook.
Okay.
And both Shannon and I are looking at that today going, I was thinking, is that, I thought that was initials. It's like, what, Isaac?
He used the initials for everyone else. So then I was very confused. There's no one with
Isaac Middlebury?
M. Yeah.
So I could have gone Bubba Watson. I could have gone Sergio Garcia. I was thinking about it.
Sergio's not a bad sleeper.
But if he gets mad, it's all downhill. If there's a temper tantrum, he just starts shooting all over the place.
I was thinking Tony Finau. He's made a lot of noise at the Valero Texas Open over the years.
He's on my big board.
Nobody took Rory McIlroy. What's up with that? How come nobody took
you have the final pick?
I'm gonna go and see, and if this is horrible, I'm gonna berate Andy Everett on Monday when he comes on the show. I choose with the final pick SJM, who I know nothing about other than Andy picks him and he's from South Korea.
He's ranked number 24 in the world right now.
Woo!
Yeah.
So not a
bad pick.
Yeah.
Not a bad pick.
There you have it.
I like you. I like yours, Chris. You've got a variety of players.
Mhm.
You've got M, who's kind of a technician of sorts. You got the beast, the power beast, who could possibly break the course if he's just knocking it on the green from the tee box.
Bryson DeChambeau.
And your first pick was
Justin Thomas,
who I believe is probably, if not, he's the favorite, if not like second or third.
Wow.
And Chris is all the young guns.
Yeah.
Justin Thomas, Bryson, and M, who's 23.
Yeah, and I have no idea what I'm doing. So that's you two actually know these golfers and you know what you're doing.
Yeah.
Now,
Scotty's pretty fresh, so.
Yes.
Now, Tanner, you analyzed my three. What about Shannon's? Dustin Johnson, John Ram, Matthew Wolff.
I think obviously Dustin Johnson, you got the defending champion, and as difficult as it is to win back-to-back, in the style that we're going with a combined score, it's not necessarily about getting the winner. It's about getting a good score. And obviously Dustin Johnson, I believe, isn't just going to completely tank after winning just a handful of months ago. So I think he is going to be atop the leaderboard. So I think that's a fantastic pick. With Ram, he's kind of scary, but if he's on, he's one of the best players in the world. So you just got to get it on a good weekend, and what better weekend than the Masters to play your best ball. And then the third and final one,
Matthew Wolff.
Oh yeah, Wolff. Yeah. I mean, that's you just got to go with your favorite at some point.
Yeah.
I don't know a whole lot about Wolff, but Shannon loves him, so that's good enough for me.
See, that's why I picked Bryson DeChambeau. I like the whole spectacle and controversy of who he is.
That's the only reason why. I mean, not the only reason
and then
why
he drives some people crazy.
Yeah, Spieth's my favorite golfer, so it's easier for me to root for that guy, especially if he's on my team now.
So, Shannon, let's have you analyze Tanner's three picks. Jordan Spieth was his first pick. Scotty Scheffler, number two Longhorns. Colin Morikawa, his third pick.
I love Jordan Spieth. He always seems to perform at the Masters, except when he has a meltdown on what hole is it? Is it 12 or 13?
I think it's 12.
I mean, that water hazard just, I mean, crippling for him. If he hits it once, then it's in his head.
Yeah,
but always a great pick again with the style of play we're going for, which is lowest score. And combined total, Jordan is always pretty consistent when it comes to the Masters, even after a win at Valero, first win in about 4 years for him. Scotty, another great pick. Yes, he happens to be a Longhorn, but he is an up-and-comer, quickly rising through the ranks. I believe, did he play in the Masters as an amateur?
I believe he did. Yeah, and I'm not sure where he finished, but I believe he did. Yeah,
he at least made the cut. But yeah, he's a great guy to know, and obviously in Texas, I think you got to put some love behind him. And then Colin, again, he's a guy that has seen himself pretty high in the leaderboard as of late, and just not a very big name as far as in the PGA Tour. But again, great sleeper pick.
And I'm surprised. Old man, get off my lawn over here. Didn't go with old Phil Mickelson. I should have said who are the oldest golfers in the field, and that's what I should have gone with. And speaking of oldest players that are probably going to be atop the leaderboard, I really like the way Matt Kuchar's playing.
I was gonna say Matt Kuchar, Mr. Skechers.
Yeah,
the dad of the tour.
Yeah, the way he's playing right now, he's probably the most experienced golfer. That's the best way I could put it. That is probably going to make a decent little run at it. I can see him being right. Nothing really rattles him.
Whatever Sergio Garcia is, Matt Kuchar is everything else.
But yeah, I've got Kuchar as my last pick. If it were the odds of you guys picking the 8 players on your list, on my list, Matt Kuchar was the last guy I was going to go with there. So
very, very nice. So Tanner, obviously the Masters, you're going to be locked in all weekend. Anything else on your weekend, either sports or entertainment radar? Any bachelor parties coming up? Anything, anything like that going on?
Nothing crazy, other than we're getting ready. We're getting ready to move places. We're upgrading with the baby on the way.
Oh
we're going 2-bedroom now, so we're upgrading to a larger place. So moving is going to be happening within the next couple of weeks, actually. So that's going to be a fun. I hate moving. Moving is the way.
It is an ordeal. It's like going to war. It's like fighting a little small war. It's terrible. Overwhelming.
Yeah. Packing, and then it's not only just the moving. It's getting the rental insurance transferred. It's getting the electricity transferred over. It's getting all that other junk taken care of. That just is the stuff that bothers me and annoys me and is taxing. Getting the Wi-Fi moved over and all the other junk.
And when is baby Christopher due? Is that August for baby Christopher?
Yeah, baby Christopher is.
I'm assuming you're naming him after me.
Of course.
Even though I don't know the gender. Do you guys know the gender?
We do know the gender.
Have you revealed it?
Christopher would be an odd name for a girl.
There you go.
Yeah, but
Christine.
Christy. Yeah, but no, early August.
Very, very cool.
Early August.
Very, very cool. Tanner Carlson. Hey, go ahead, Shannon. Do you have something?
Well, just that football season is very close to that.
That's true.
Well,
every football season, the birthday
get her while she's young.
Do you know my very first purchase for my baby girl?
Longhorn onesie.
It was not a Longhorn onesie, but it was little football socks.
Nice.
Little socks that are look like a little football. They got the laces on them. So as soon as she comes out and her little feetsies are all cold, I'm slipping those bad boys on, and she's gonna be a football. There's no other sport that's going to exist from the time she's born until February for her. She's gonna learn very early.
But if you make her a Cowboys fan, you're going to condemn her to a lifetime of anguish.
If I have to suffer my whole life, so does everybody else in my family.
We're passing it on.
Yeah.
And hopefully she'll live long enough to see Stephen Jones
and the thing was,
deliver a Super Bowl.
My dad, he had season tickets throughout the 90s, went to all 3 Super Bowls in the 90s.
Nice.
And so he's got the Super Bowl balls. He's got, signed autographs from the games that he was at. That he probably has a decent amount of merchandise in terms of the amount of money that he has of paraphernalia and merchandise and whatnot from those 90s Cowboys teams. And he was like, man, I got a son coming, and he's going to enjoy being a Cowboys fan for his entire life.
He's going to thank me for making him a Cowboys fan. He's going
to thank me so much for all the success. And I've seen nothing.
It's hell.
I've seen nothing.
It's a living hell being a Cowboys fan. Tanner Carlson is a great follow on Twitter at Tanner Carlson 20. And yes, so do I.
But I love them.
And we're going to be updating our golfers' standings throughout the weekend on Twitter. So check out Tanner on Twitter. Shannon's on Twitter at Shannon B. Sweeney. I'm on Twitter at Chris Duel. And of course, 2 of us will be humiliated beginning on Monday. Quick break. Don't forget the MLS Commissioner Don Garber going to join us less than an hour now at 8:20. That's going to be a great discussion. You don't want to miss that, Austin FC fans and San Antonio soccer peeps as well. You got a few things to learn from Don Garber. That's coming up. Our thanks to Tanner. Dave Ayler is your soundscape stylist. We are with you until 9. Your salty shakedown, sports history, and sports birthdays are next on the Chris Duel Show. Woo! Beth Settle, good morning.
Oh, that was fun.
Yeah, that was great.
Yeah, I've got I had best odds, and I was looking some stuff up last night.
Yeah, we'll see if Andy Everett comes through for me, since I have no idea what the hell I'm doing.
I need you to ask him about my team, and I need you to have him break down my draft.
I might I'll post all 3 and ask him for an expert opinion on who did the best. That's a great idea.
Who he thinks is gonna.
And we might just, since it's Masters, get him in tomorrow. So we'll just do that on the air.
Yeah.
So, okay. Cool. All right, man. Thanks so much.
Yeah, have a good one.
See, I think I'm going to heat up my coffee. Do I want more coffee? I think I always want more coffee after a sleep-deprived evening. All right, I'm off. Do I have sports history ready? Where is it? There it is. Big day in sports history. One of the biggest days in Major League Baseball history. A momentous night on this night in 1974. And I saw it. Get off my lawn. I know where I was when it happened.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Here we go. Wes Perkins, good morning. Luisa Alanis says, good job, Tanner. Eric Taylor, good morning. John Williams, Sam Tobias. Carlos Noel Gomez. You might have already either been planning this or maybe Shannon had the discussion. The Don Garber interview, can we grab that as like a standalone podcast so that we can push it out? If possible. Yeah. Yeah, if it's not too ridiculous. What was I going to say? If possible, if that's not, if it, yeah, and then a separate, yeah, okay. Are you here tomorrow or no? Oh, good. Here we come. That's what I'm talking about. Dave Ayler, your soundscape stylist, getting your juices flowing in the morning on a Thursday, April 8th, 36 minutes ago. The first golfers took to the course at Augusta, and the Masters is underway. We will update the leaderboard for you here in just a bit, and we will continue to keep an eye on it throughout the morning. And, of course, tomorrow during the show, we will be into round 2, and we will have an idea of where Shannon's and Tanner's and my 3 golfers whom we drafted, where they are. A reminder, later, less than an hour away at 8:20, MLS Commissioner Don Garber will join us. He was in Austin yesterday. As Shannon mentioned, may still be in Austin for all we know, but he was touring the new stadium for Austin FC. Shannon, have you been out to the stadium? You were there for like groundbreaking, right?
Yeah, I was physically there for the groundbreaking with everyone, and lots of excitement. It's crazy to think that that was just a pile of dirt. I remember driving back through like in between buildings to this muddy, uneven. It like rained the day before, and then you had to walk all the way into the. So to go from that to see it when I drive by it now. You know, a lot of those buildings are gone. The stadium is obviously completely built, and when it's lit up at night with that green, it is spectacular.
Very cool. And I think you told me you were standing next to McConaughey at that ceremony, or did I hear you say that, or am I?
He was
Making that up.
He was there at that ceremony. The taco one where we had tacos was
That's-
at the Yeti announcement, which is the main sponsor of Austin FC, the jersey sponsor.
Having a taco next to Matthew McConaughey, that's pretty special.
It's like if you were to do, I don't know if you ever watched How I Met Your Mother, but there's one episode where it's like, you're not a real New Yorker until blank. And they came up with all these things. And I feel like you're not an Austinite if you haven't seen Matthew McConaughey in the flesh.
Well, and
it's not that hard to do.
To ingest a taco next to him is pretty special. I mean, it's one thing to see him or cross his path.
Does it?
Yeah, no. So yeah, a taco. That's beautiful. All right, in a moment. And again, we'll talk all things MLS and Austin FC with Major League Soccer Commissioner Don Garber at 8:20. But now, in a moment, it is Shannon's Salty Shakedown. But first, this day in sports history. This was one of the most momentous nights in baseball history. I remember it vividly as a kid. It'll be the last thing I get to, but we'll blow through these pretty quickly. On this day in 1966, the American Football League votes in 36-year-old owner of the Oakland Raiders, Al Davis, as its new commissioner. Joe Foss resigns, and shortly thereafter, the AFL would merge with the NFL. Al Davis, a lot of people forget. I mean, he was we've got the MLS commissioner coming up. Al Davis was a force in the American Football League, and he was a force that forced that merger between the NFL and the AFL back in the late 1960s. On this day in 1968, Major League Baseball decides to postpone opening day because of the assassination of civil rights leader Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Wow. I was a kid at the time. I vividly remember the assassination and all the TV coverage. I did not know that Major League Baseball postponed opening day. Good on you, Major League Baseball. You should have done that. You did the right thing. On this day in 1975, Frank Robinson debuts as the first African-American baseball manager. His Cleveland Indians beat the New York Yankees in his first game, 5-3. Very nice. Finally, before the big one, this day in 2001, it was the 65th U.S. Masters Tournament at Augusta, Georgia. Tiger Woods, on this day, won his second Masters and his sixth major title, 2 strokes ahead of David Duval. And Shannon, the big marquee event on this day, on this night, April 8th, 1974, Hammer and Hank Aaron blasted number 715, his home run, off L.A. Dodger Al Downing, breaking Babe Ruth's record in Atlanta. They never thought Babe Ruth's record for home runs would be broken. Hank Aaron did it in a big way. And again, talking about racism in this country, Shannon, as you probably know, he was getting death threats because a black man was about to get the home run record. So they had to have extra security on the road and even in Atlanta for Hank Aaron.
That's crazy.
Crazy. I was 13 years old. I saw it at the Pepper Tree Apartments on Callahan in San Antonio. I went to visit my sister Beth and her boyfriend Scott Upson, and on the TV was this game, and we knew it was a big one, and we knew that Hank Aaron had a shot to hit the home run, and it was like the shot heard around the world. Very, very cool. All right, sports birthdays. Born on this day in 1912, Sonja Henie. She was a big deal. A Norwegian figure skater, won Olympic gold in 1928, 1932, and 1936. She became an actress. She was born in Oslo, Norway on this day in 1912. She died in 1969. Born on this day in 1940, Hondo Havlicek. John Havlicek of the Boston Celtics, 8-time NBA champion, 13-time All-Star, born in Martins Ferry, Ohio. John Havlicek died in 2019. Born on this day in 1946, Jim Catfish Hunter, one of my favorite nicknames ever in sports. Catfish Hunter, American Baseball Hall of Fame pitcher, All-Star in 66, 67, 70, 72 through 76, World Series series in 72, 73, 74, 77, and 78. Cy Young Award winner in 74. He was unbelievable with the Oakland A's and the New York Yankees. Catfish Hunter was born on this day in 1946 in Hetford, North Carolina. He died in 1999. Born on this day in 1949, American broadcaster, especially for boxing, Jim Lampley. I always like Jim Lampley, born in Hendersonville, North Carolina on this day. Speaking of broadcasting, groundbreaking American sports broadcaster, journalist, and model Lisa Guerrero, born on this day in 1964 in Chicago, Illinois. Finally, born on this day in 1964, just like Lisa Guerrero, John McGinley, who was a Scottish soccer player, born in Inverness, Scotland. And why I bring him up, he has become, and for like decades, the head coach at Trinity University in San Antonio, coaching soccer. They have won scores of, I think they're Division 2 or 3 national championships. John McGinley, I've had him on the show. He's an amazing guy. Happy birthday to John. Those are your sports birthdays. And now, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, friends, Romans, and countrymen, you've been waiting for it. Now you've got it. Here it is, your daily salty shakedown.
Before we get into a quick Masters update, we've got 8 players who are now through at least one hole. And unfortunately, Texas alum Dylan Fratelli, currently 8th out of 8. He's already over 2 on the day. So send the Hookem some love, and let's hope he can battle through as he makes his way through day 1 of the Masters. All right, Salty Shakedown. Starting off with the Bills quarterback, Mr. Josh Allen. We had Mitch Morris on his center just a couple of weeks ago, and he mentioned what a great guy Josh Allen is and their great relationship and just an outstanding quarterback. Statistically, he's had a great couple last seasons. He's only been improving, so the Bills should be a lot of fun to watch this next year. He was recently on a podcast where he was asked multiple questions, one of those questions being, are you going to get the vaccine? To which he said, I don't know.
Ooh.
And I don't know how. He says he likes that the NFL is not enforcing, making it mandatory for their players to be vaccinated, and I don't know if other leagues are, but okay. Where I'm a little confused is that he says he's a big stats guy, and he's a logical guy. And
Good point.
If the stats show that yes, the vaccine is working and it does good, then he will get one. And he says if it fares the other way, then he'll do the opposite. He won't get one. He says he's been spending so much time at home. He's not staying as aware as maybe he should be on COVID and the vaccine. But my question to that is how? It is everywhere, all of the time.
Yeah.
Pick up a phone. Anytime you turn on the TV, it's all anyone has been talking about for the last year. How do you not at least have some sort of impression or idea of how things are going? I find it a little ridiculous. I don't know if he was not prepped for the question. I don't know if he truly was speaking from the heart. I don't know if maybe he said some of these things just to get some attention, because he certainly is now, because he was trending yesterday following this comment. Come on, Josh Allen, get that vaccine. What say you, Mr. Duel?
He's a stats guy, and the stats and the science says that these vaccines are remarkably effective.
Exactly.
Over 90% for the Pfizer vaccine. And what ticks me off about people like him, Shannon, is he's a young guy, so even if he got it, he'd probably be okay. Not for sure. Some young people in great health have died from this in their 20s, but you can be asymptomatic and pass it on. And that's how other people die. People with underlying symptoms or something they're dealing with, or an older person. So I think it's very, very, if you believe in science and medicine and you don't get this thing, I've got an issue with you.
I mean, that's what he says. And so that's where my confusion is. It's not even on the fact that he said, well, I don't know if I'm going to get it. It's that he then follows with, well, I'm a stats and science logistical guy, so I'm waiting on the facts. What more facts do you need? Do you need everyone else in the world to get it? Do you want to be the last guy to get it? To say, all right, now, billions and billions of people have got it. It seems to be working just fine. I guess I'll take my turn. I don't understand. Come on, Josh Allen. Let's be a leader here. Get that vaccine. Moving on to another NFL player, Mr. Alvin Kamara. He is also on a podcast recently. I guess that's just a thing to do in your off season and your experience in COVID. You just jump on a couple of podcasts. And on it, he's mentioned that he has yet to spend a dime of his NFL earnings, which is incredible. I think it's the thing to do when you're a professional athlete, especially of his stature, where he's getting money from endorsements. And he says he's living by his means. He's not doing anything excessive. He just bought a little place in Montana for him to go and spend time in the off season and just relax and get away. He says he didn't grow up with money, so his family has never known this amount of money. Of course, he just signed that 5-year, $75 million contract. And as we know, the lifespan of an NFL player is already so short. He's, of course, already outlived that. But in the span of your life, it's such a small career. You know, when you stop playing, the checks stop coming in. So I think it's great that he is looking to save that money. He's probably investing that money. I know that he got in with the number 6 NASCAR. He sponsored that car recently. He says as far as his endorsements, he doesn't just take and say yes to everything. He takes time. He want to make sure that he is involved with companies that he sees a future with, even beyond his playing career. So I just think it's fantastic. I think it's something that a lot of players should think about doing, especially if they're in that position. He says he stays very closely connected to his money. He doesn't have too many people that move stuff around. He always gets the final say, because a lot of players, like we mentioned earlier, you know, they have the yes people in their lives, and they're yes people because, you know, they kind of are able to take advantage of the money that these players are getting, and they don't want to miss out on that, so they keep those players happy. But then those players don't see where that money is going, and how much they could possibly use that money in the future, because you just don't know about your NFL career until, you know, most people would like to end on their own terms, but that doesn't always happen. Mr. Kamara, most notably, I know him as the guy with the nose ring until Zeke went out and got himself one. But what
Way
are
to
your
go,
thoughts
Zeke.
on his money saving tactics? And, you know, I feel like money, when you come in the NFL, there should be like a course they take, almost like
Yes.
a college class.
Yes. Well, we know they have a rookie symposium, and that's the
Right.
place where Chris Carter told the rookies a few years ago, always have a fall guy if you ever get in trouble. But I think what they should be telling them, and, you know, Alvin Kamara should teach this when he retires. They should have a rookie symposium. They should teach this to incoming NFL players. And you're right. The average NFL lifespan is like 3.1 seasons if you're lucky to make the team your first time out as a rookie. And Shannon, we've heard so many horror stories about players who've spent beyond their means. And as you said, you stop playing, the checks stop coming, and these guys have wound up on the streets, and it's just been god awful. And then, God forbid, you know, 10, 15 years later, you've got CTE issues that might compound things and make them worse. So way to go, Alvin Kamara. You are a role model, and I hope more players in the NFL and across all professional sports learn from your example.
Kobe always preached finding your passion outside of basketball, so that when it ended, if you were living, you know, a certain lifestyle on those checks that you were coming in, that you would be able to then continue that, because once those checks stop coming, it's a big hit to a lot of people, and they just don't fall back from that lifestyle. Also, TJ Ford, notable Longhorn alum, he as well, I don't think he ever spent a dime of his NBA contract earnings. He lived off of his endorsements. He was a Spur too, right?
Very briefly.
Tiny bit,
Very briefly,
Spur,
yeah.
no less. All right, moving on, and keeping with the NBA, Shaq doing good in the hood yesterday. He showed up to a jewelry store in the mall. He said he was there to buy some hoop earrings, and he ended up doing a really awesome deed that no one asked him to do. He just did it out of the kindness of his heart. We have audio of him here talking about it last night on TNT.
I do it all the time. So I'm just trying to make people smile. That's all.
Shaq doing Shaq things. I think we should all be like Shaq. I know we don't all have Shaq money, but the point of doing an act of kindness because you can is fantastic. We don't get that enough. So I loved this story. You know, like Shaq said, he didn't mean for it to get out. You know, he kind of does this stuff all the time. But a guy did take his cell phone app out because that's what you do when Shaq walks into the room. He's pretty noticeable when he walks in. I hear he's a pretty large human being. But I also love that I have more questions about the hoop earrings. Are they for him? Because he was not wearing hoop earrings last night on the broadcast. I made sure to check that. But what do you think of this story and how awesome? I mean, Shaq is the dude.
Yeah, I love it. And I love that 2 stories in a row. First Alvin Kamara and now Shaq. And you make a huge point, Shannon. We don't all have Shaq money, but we can all use our platform for good. We can all do good things in our own sphere of influence, whether that's our family, whether that's our neighborhood, whether that's our coworkers. Just there are many, many random acts of kindness and not so random acts of kindness that you can engage in. So I applaud Mr. Shaquille O'Neal for buying that man's engagement ring. Very, very cool.
Yeah, Shaq, I don't need an engagement ring, but I like jewelry. I could use bigger earrings, not hoops though.
Yeah, John Williams pointing out on Facebook Live, true, Shaquille O'Neal went to Cole High School in San Antonio, Texas, which is right next to Fort Sam Houston Army installation. His dad was in the Army. So, yep, maybe they taught him well at Cole High School.
That's pretty awesome. Yeah. That concludes your salty shakedown for today. Hopefully a little positivity.
I like it. Yeah, like Deshaun Watson is such a god-awful story, and there's so many awful stories. In fact, you sent me one yesterday, and we didn't get to it yet, about a coach preying upon former players and trying to get nude photos of them over the internet.
Coach, 28.
Yeah. There's awful things going on. However, there are also wonderful things going on. And we tend as people not to accentuate the positive and shine a light on the wonderful things that are going on. And I think probably if we added them all up, there's a lot more wonderful things going on than awful things. So I salute you, Shannon, for going very positive on that salty shakedown. That was way cool.
Thank you.
All righty. In the very next segment, in fact, he's going to due to call in at 8:20. So we'll talk a little Austin FC probably before he calls in. MLS commissioner, Major League Soccer commissioner Don Garber, who was in Austin inspecting the new stadium. He's going to join us at about 8:20 this morning. We got a lot to talk to Don Garber about. We're looking forward to that interview. I think you'll like it as well. And we will continue to keep an eye on the leaderboard at the Masters. In fact, we'll do that right now. We'll go take a look during the break here. And as soon as we get back, we will update you on what's happening with the Masters. She is Shannon Salty Sweeney. Dave Ayler is your soundscape stylist. MLS Commissioner Don Garber at 8:20. Thanks for hanging out with us. We're with you till 9. It's the Chris Duel Show. Yeah, Louisa, John, that was my problem. I didn't think to turn the way our sound works here. I didn't turn off my microphone so you could hear the sound. So that was my mistake. I am sleep deprived. So some things that I might think of, I didn't think of that in the moment. I need to look up the commissioner of the National Hockey League, NHL commissioner. I can mention him to Don Garber, who is the longest tenured commissioner. Gary Bettman. We think since 93. Yep, 93. And I know you're doing this, but in case he calls in early, keep an eye on that hotline. I don't think he will. He's probably going to call right at 8:20 if he does.
Okay. And we have 10 minutes, right?
10 minutes. Yeah, I got to get him out. I don't want to keep him later. I got to get him out by 8:30. So, yeah, I want to get him out at 29:30. Beth Settle Shaq was in a jewelry store, and there was a young man buying an engagement ring. Well, the video's on this TV right now. There was a young man buying an engagement ring and asking the jeweler, how much do I owe so I can get it? It was on layaway or something. So Shaq whipped out his credit card, and the kid says, no, you can't do this. I can't accept it. He said, yes, you can. Accept it. I do this all the time. So very, very cool what Shaq did. And I apologize. I didn't turn my mic off here for y'all to hear it on the radio or on Facebook Live. But yeah, Fox News Channel showing that story right now. Leo Zambrano, good morning, Vietnam. Yeah, Gary, I don't fully understand why, but this season, Ticket 760 power's bigger than I am. It's above my pay grade, but they chose not to broadcast Astros games this year, which kind of bums me out. I love the Houston Astros, and I loved that for years we had them here on Ticket 760. So I wish they were still here, and hopefully when the Astros win the World Series this year again, the powers that be here will revisit that decision. It's a good question. I don't know where they are now in San Antonio. They must be somewhere. But let's see. I had this. There it is. Gary, yeah, I see, Gary, that the Astros website still shows 760. You know, different teams, different professional teams have a different emphasis on some of their website listings. So that's unfortunate. And again, man, I'm disappointed that we're not broadcasting Astros games this year. If they would have asked my opinion, I would have beaten on a trash can and lobbied heavily for the Astros. because I'm a big fan. Gary, Leo Zambrano taking shots. Mr. Dodgers, don't take shots at Astros fans. Leo. Astros are back, baby. We like all the heckling. We use it as fuel for the Astros. Oh, I need to find...
This is the Chris Duel Show.
Shannon, I can't pull up a Masters leaderboard. Do you have a leaderboard up? My computer is suddenly not cooperating with me. All right. We'll have you update us. What a day in sports, past and present. I mentioned on this day in sports history, this was the night, April 8th, 1974, that Hank Aaron ripped out number 715 in Atlanta, unseating Babe Ruth as the all-time home run king. It was a cool moment. And then now you've got the Masters underway. We'll take a look at the leaderboard here in just a moment. Opening round of the Masters. Golfers went onto the course about an hour ago, and we did our Masters 3-player draft. Shannon, Salty, Sweeney, Tanner Carlson, and myself. We will be updating those standings throughout the tournament as well. And coming up in a little over 10 minutes, MLS Commissioner Don Garber, who was in Austin yesterday to check out, inspect the new Q2 stadium for Austin FC. Now, Shannon, I'm terminally unhip. What is Q2? Is that some hip Austin tech company that bought the naming rights to the stadium?
I'm pretty sure it's a tech company.
Yeah.
But I don't actually know what.
Well, good. I feel better.
I've seen a couple of their campuses.
Yeah. See, I thought you would have said, Chris, what an idiot. Come on. Everybody knows Q2. It's the hottest tech company in Austin.
I'm sure by the end of this first season, though, everyone will know what
Yes.
Q2 is.
So, I mean, good investment because
Well,
we're
it's like a cool little, like, hey, where are you going to be this week? Oh, Q2.
Q2, baby. Yeah, I'll be hanging. Q2. Yeah, Don Garber, the Major League Soccer commissioner, joining us at 8:20. All right, Shannon, if you're on Facebook Live, Shannon came to play today, and she's got both arenas covered. She's wearing her official Masters baseball cap, and that is a snazzy cap, I must admit. I've got cap. See, I'm wearing Valero Texas Open, and you're like the Masters. Yours is.
That's so last week, Chris.
I know. I am last decade is what I am. And Shannon also wearing her Austin FC t-shirt. I'm envious of that because I don't have an Austin FC t-shirt or jersey yet. That's on my list. I want one. So
Yeah.
I will get one soon.
Yeah. Maybe, see, I'm just excited for this interview because I'm going to ask for free swag.
Oh, there you go. Use the opportunity to
use
hit up the commish.
Pander for free. No, I'm kidding.
It's like, we are the flagship of English language broadcasting for Austin FC, Mr. Commissioner Garber. Can you send some swag our way, please?
We basically work together. We're basically part of the club.
Exactly.
I'm practically on the pitch.
I'm on your team, dude.
Just go ahead and sign me a jersey number.
Very nice.
All right, some Masters update. You ready for this one? All right, we've got 14 players through at least the first hold. Unfortunately, Hookham's Mr. Dylan Fratelli still not leading the way. Take last place right now at +2. He's 2 over on the day. And Mr. Swafford currently leading at 2 under. He is through 5.
You mentioned Dylan Furtati. Am I pronouncing his name correctly?
Fratelli, I believe.
Fratelli. And it looks like we got a phone call coming in right now, so we might be going to him pretty quickly. But can you imagine you get to the Masters and you're so excited and raring to go, and you're like, the first few holes, you're just having a debacle.
I know it. He's through 3. So,
yeah, we'll keep an eye on it. Well, Dave Ayler on Facebook Live is getting a call. I see the caller ID. It says Major League Soccer. Now, this could be the handler for Don Garber just calling 10 minutes early going, are you guys going to be ready? Because he's pretty special.
I know he's making the rounds today. He's going to be on a couple of iHeart stations because people have been asking me questions this morning.
Yeah, and probably his handler is
getting him first.
Yes, his handler is telling Dave Ayler the ground rules. We don't want anybody asking him for swag. It happens all the time. Don't anger him.
Can I fly on your jet, sir?
Yes.
You have a jet, right?
He must have a jet. He's a big deal. And as we mentioned, the longest tenure. All right, we got to ask Dave Ayler what that was about. I saw Major League Soccer on the caller ID, Dave Ayler. What happened, man?
The commissioner will be at 8:40. He's on a conference call with some owners, and so that's going to go till about 8:30. So 8:40, he'll be calling.
8:40.
Up by the commissioner of the MLS.
And we're out at 8:52. So we need him to be on time. How confident did they sound about 8:40, Dave?
He was confident. It was his handler that called me, and he says 8:40, and it is. So
let me just
they'll be
delete
ready.
that tweet.
Woo! Yeah, and I've got a sign here on my computer monitor. In fact, I can cross that out. Let me do that.
Wow.
I can't write it upside down.
Well, now I think he owes you a free shirt, Chris.
I think he does now.
I don't know the rules exactly.
And we hyped the hell out of this on social media for the last 28 hours.
Let me just delete that tweet I just sent.
All right, it happens. He's a busy guy.
Oh yeah.
He's the commissioner of Major League Soccer.
Yeah. And it's kind of a busy time of year. Season gets underway.
And he's talking with owners, so there's
so
priority over us.
Yeah, so he's probably on a conference call with Matthew McConaughey.
Come on and give us some breaking news.
Yes.
Got out of this huge meeting, and we're changing the landscape of the MLS.
Yeah, Don, tell us what that meeting was about, man. We want to know. So, all right. So, change in plan. Dave Ayler gets a call from Major League Soccer. Don Garber going to join us at 8:40. So, Shannon will break out of this segment a little early to make sure we're up and running in time for that segment.
I'm cool with it.
So that's very, very cool. And hopefully he's not late because we're off at 8:52.
You know, I was thinking a couple weeks ago when the March Madness came on, I was like, this has got to be my laziest weekend of the year, right? Because games after games after games. And then the Masters commercials started running. And I thought, no, this is my weekend to be at my laziest. Because unlike a lot of just regular tournaments, they actually air the full, like you can find it on a channel in the morning, right? You don't have to wait for the quote unquote prime time of golf. I mean, so it's just 4 days of me heading home, sitting in front of my TV and doing next to nothing else.
And over the years, Andy Everett, and we'll probably have to grab Andy tomorrow because it's the Masters, and we'll have him rate our 3 golfer teams that we drafted for the Masters. But I've seen Andy so many years during the Masters and other big tournaments, but specifically the Masters. He'll have his iPad, and I mean, he's locked into the website and live video and leaderboard update. And I mean, he is just insane and totally locked into the Masters.
I wish I had a TV in here so I could see it.
I
typically
Yeah.
would for sure be tuned in right now.
Yeah, I have a TV in here, and it only gets the Fox News channel.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at Karl Rove, Dana Perino, and Bill Henner right now.
If I didn't have a computer in here that I had to reboot every morning the last couple of days, I'd probably try and pull up a feed of some sort. But for now, I guess just watching the scoreboard will do. The first player of the players we drafted, Dustin Johnson, will tee off. And then within the next hour and a half, but we're going to have to wait a while today before our people really get going.
And I got
interesting.
Yes. And I've got a little bit of an issue with the Masters. They did something this morning. They have official starters who are legendary golfers. Mm-hmm. And today it was Lee Elder, the first African-American to play on the Augusta course. And he was a great professional golfer. Gary Player and Jack Nicklaus. And when I heard the story that this was the first time, and Lee Elder is 86 years old. This is the first time Lee Elder has been an official starter for the Masters. My question, Shannon, what took you so long? Why did you wait until 2020? What if this guy would have passed away 3 years ago and you didn't give him this? I heard an interview with him and he said, I'm nervous. It's such an honor. This is, other than playing the course back when I was a pro, this is the greatest day of my life. And this is my pet peeve for, like the Pro Football Hall of Fame when you didn't induct Ken Stabler till after he died, or Bob Hayes, Cowboy wide receiver, until after he died. When you've got a great athlete, in this case, a great golfer in Lee Elder, and first of all, props to you, golf, PGA, and the Masters for doing it today. But my thought is, why in God's name didn't you do this in 2003 or in 1998? I can't believe they waited till 2021 to make Lee Elder one of the stars. And he was the first African-American to play on this course professionally. And he is now the first African-American to be a starter at the beginning of the Masters this morning.
Well, let's hope he's not the last. But yeah, I totally agree. I don't know what the long wait is. And I know that it's like a ceremonial thing and it's like the big moment where everything really gets underway. So it is a big deal. But it's not like, they're older guys. It's not like this is like Jack Nicklaus. Everybody knows him. We love him. But
yeah,
it's not like we get all excited over him every time he makes mirrors. Although Jack Nicklaus did say after today, he said that was the hardest part in reference to putting his ball on the tee this morning.
Yeah, I would. Yeah, I mean, it's no bigger tournament in golf than this one. So even for a guy as accomplished as Jack Nicklaus, and you're looking for a back-to-back, Shannon. He's one of the. I heard the names today, and I'm forgetting the third. It's Jack Nicklaus, Tiger Woods, and I'm forgetting there's three golfers who have won back-to-back Masters, I do believe. So
was Mickelson one?
I don't think it was Mickelson. I didn't.
It was a Texas guy, old Texas guy.
Yeah. Gosh, now that I said it, now I got to Google it. Back-to-back Masters. Back. No, it's riveting radio when some dude's looking for something on back-to-back Masters winners. There it is. All right. God bless Google. I love Google. I'm sorry. I know it's probably evil and it's probably watching our every move and it's coming up with all kinds of algorithms about what we want and what we purchase. Nick Faldo. That's what I was looking for. So Jack Nicklaus won it 65-66. Second to do it, Nick Faldo, 89-90. And Tiger Woods, back-to-back Masters, 2001 to 2002. So there is precedent.
Yeah.
It has been done.
Are we going to count Dustin Johnson with it being so few months apart?
I think you absolutely. Yeah, because I mean, somebody might try to put an asterisk on it. I think that would be wrong. Yeah. But he was the 2020 champion. And if he becomes the 2021 champion, and in a weird way, we heard this about the NBA bubble. Mm-hmm. Some people said, well, is it going to be like, a regular, because you're in a bubble, so it's a little different as well. It's actually harder. It's probably harder if he pulls this off back to back in just a few months from the 2020 Masters. I think he almost deserves even more props on a certain level.
Yeah, I'd agree.
Yeah.
And especially like you think of just the conditions of the course from a November to an April.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So I'd take that.
Absolutely. If you're just tuning in, because we've been promoting it quite a bit, we got a phone call from Major League Soccer just a few moments ago. They called into Dave Ayler, and they said Don Garber, the commissioner, is in a meeting, and he will call at 8:40. So we've been telling you on social media and all over the place and on this show and on yesterday's show, we've been telling you it's 8:20. I know some people might be tuning in for that interview now at 8:20. So just for anybody who might be just jumping in right now, we expect, and his handler with Major League Soccer assured Dave Ayler that Don Garber, the MLS commissioner, will join us at 8:40. So,
I have trust.
And that is my biggest, Shannon. That's one of my biggest fears in radio, just because it's embarrassing when you have a high profile guest and you promote it. You go, hey man, on Thursday. I once had T.O. on the show on Ticket 760 in San Antonio when I was doing afternoons. And so it was like, say it was on a Thursday afternoon. On Monday, hey man, we are 3 days away from T.O. He's going to be on at 4:40 on Thursday, like every day, all over Twitter, all over Facebook, all over Instagram. 4:40 rolls around. Oh, he'll call. And that's what drives me crazy in radio when we don't have the number. Oh, he'll call you. Oh yeah, he'll call you at 4:40. And it's like 4:40.
Taking it out of my
4:42, no TO. And so then I'm like, I'm trying to have fun with it. I mean, I was kind of ticked off that it wasn't happening, but I was kind of self-deprecating. Well, I've been stood up by TO. I can now add that to my resume. Yeah. And two things happened. One, his handler apparently was listening to the show online. And, I'm not being, I'm just having fun with the fact that we promoted the hell out of Terrell Owens and he wasn't coming. She heard it, and the way she was angry. She called me during a break. She said, I will never. She goes, I will get him for you myself right now, but I will never, ever get you another guest again after this Chris Duel. I was having fun. What am I supposed to do? Yeah. I'm tap dancing. I'm making light of the fact that T.O. is standing us up. So he did come on 30 minutes late. He was a good interview. And to this day, this handler of his blocks me on social media and is very vindictive, which is so weird.
It's interesting you mentioned T.O. I mean, I've been in situations where someone, no, we'll call you, and then they don't call. And I get it. They're high profile people. They've got other things going on. We are not at the top of their list. So I give, there's no fault to them, but T.O. specifically, we had scheduled it. We were just going to record it.
Yeah.
Right. So we could do it on his time, and dude hopped a flight and didn't tell his handler. She was like, I just found out that he is on an airplane. I'm so sorry. We will reschedule.
So you remember specifically his handler was a woman?
I believe so.
Probably the same woman. I'll tell you her name off the air sometime. So, but yeah.
But she did get him to us.
And she got him to me eventually.
I had no idea. He just got on a flight.
Yeah.
But I guess when you're TO, that's what you do.
That's what you do when you're TO.
Why not?
Yes. All right, we're going to break a little early just to make sure that we're up and running for MLS Commissioner Don Garber. If you're just tuning in, again, we've been promoting that he was going to join us at 8:20. He's in a big meeting, according to his peeps. So he's in a meeting with owners. So maybe he'll break some news for us. That'll be even better. But we are now hearing from Major League Soccer that their commissioner, who was in Austin yesterday to inspect Q2 Stadium, the home of Austin FC, they say he's going to call us at 8:40. And maybe T.O. will call us at 8:40. So
they did let us know. It's
true.
Not like they just left us hanging.
That's a great point. They could have kept us hanging. It's like, if you want Don Garber, you'll get nothing and like it. He'll call in at 8:40. If you're still there, you can have him. So true. I am thankful. And that's good business. Yes, obviously, he's a busy guy. It's an owner's meeting. It's a conference call. So he's got to hang in there. So yeah, just all we ask is just tell us. And that's my pet peeve at restaurants. A waiter, you sit down and they don't even look at you because they're busy. All I need you to tell me is, I'll be right with you in a few minutes. I see you. I acknowledge you as a human being. You exist on this planet. I'll be there as soon as I can. That's all I need. And a beer and some Fresca salsa at Chewy's. All right, quick break. 8:40. Let's synchronize our watches. We expect MLS Commissioner Don Garber to join us at 8:40. She is Shannon Salty Sweeney. Dave Ayler is your soundscape stylist. We're with you till 9. Lots to talk about on the Chris Duel Show. Yeah, Roy Bragg, I will ask him about San Antonio. All right. Good morning, Fred Robert Casares. By the way, Roy Bragg, good to see you in here, man. You've always been one of my favorites. I need to get you on the show again. For people who don't know, Roy Bragg was a longtime prolific and brilliant columnist in the San Antonio Express-News. He was very, his columns were very unique and creative and often acerbic. Always enjoyed him. And had him on the show some. He's a great radio guest. Oh, come on, Roy Bragg. Roy Bragg says MLS is a pyramid scheme. It's the Amway of professional sports. Well, and my question is, if San Antonio was indeed a great venue, and I love San Antonio, and I want MLS soccer, and I was the first season ticket holder and PA announcer for the San Antonio Scorpions, so I'm into it. And I remember that effort to get MLS here, and I know it went sideways, but I just think, San Antonio and Spurs Sports and Entertainment with San Antonio FC needs to make San Antonio irresistible to MLS soccer. And I know that's redundant because it's Major League Soccer. So I should just say Major League Soccer instead of MLS soccer. I know it's redundant. I'm sleep deprived. I worked the late Spurs game last night. Again, updating. Thank you very much. Yeah, Roy, I can't argue that. Roy says, I grew to love soccer, even though I despise soccer Twitter. The SAFC people deserved better. Yeah, and I'm sure they did, Roy, and I don't know all the specifics. I hear from people on the San Antonio end that it did not go well and that they felt betrayed and they felt they were not handled well. But
Chris, I sent you a text.
I didn't hear you.
I sent you a text.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Okay. I am going to I am, as an exit question, though, I have to bring it up. So, but I'll do it very, very carefully. And I told Brian that yesterday in the hallway.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, I'm not going to make that. That's going to be one question near the end. Obviously, not the focus of my line of questioning. Roy Bragg says Spurs Sports and Entertainment should hire mercenaries to lay waste to Austin. I miss your columns, man. That was some of the gold we would find in your columns. So, did they mention an out time? I'm assuming it's still 10 minutes. So, yeah, so therefore I'm assuming 50. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Very funny, Roy Bragg. Yeah, Dan, I loved everything Dan Cook, John. Loved him on TV, loved his columns. I'm sure Roy Bragg crossed paths with Dan Cook at the San Antonio Express News. I think, Roy, I heard that story where Dan had to grab Fritz von Erich in the nether region to kind of control him because he was like choking Dan. He had him in a headlock or something. Yeah, Dan Cook, man. That guy was amazing. All right. Let's see if I get a leaderboard here. Wow, Johnny Moore, Fred. A lot of people don't remember him. He was tremendous, too. The Johnny Moore before Johnny Moore the Spur. 12-star final. Little Sticks. Blue Collar Man. Dennis DeYoung on lead vocals. Very nice. Dave Ayler, your soundscape stylist. It's the Chris Duel Show along with Shannon Salty Sweeney. If you're just tuning in and or if you tuned in to hear Major League Soccer Commissioner Don Garber, we got a phone call during the last segment. He is on a conference call with other MLS owners or with MLS owners. And he is expected now to call in to us in about 7 minutes at 8:40. So that's pretty cool. Shannon?
Oh, yeah. Again, high importance takes precedence over us. We're so happy that he will be joining us today.
Woo!
To kick off the MLS season and Austin FC's inaugural season, which I can't even believe I'm saying. As we said earlier, I was at the groundbreaking. It was so hard to imagine that all of that dirt and rock was going to become what it is now. And for anyone who hasn't seen either the renderings of the stadium or once seen in person, I highly recommend it. I cannot wait to step foot in there and see all the little details that they put together.
How long ago do you recall was the groundbreaking? How long has this stadium been under construction?
I want to say it was in September of 29.
Okay.
Maybe.
All right.
I don't know.
I have another pet
A
peeve
lot
with the
happened
Masters.
then.
I mentioned Lee Elder. I think they should have let Lee Elder be a starter before 2021, but at least they let him today, and he's had that experience, and he certainly deserves that experience. The other thing, I'm looking at the leaderboard, and again, unlike you, Shannon, and Tanner Carlson, and the great Andy Everett, I don't know all of these golfers, so they only, on the leaderboard at masters.com, they only use last names. So, I know some of these golfers, but Zalatorius, I don't know Zalatorius' first name. You know, Zalatorius is among the leaders right now. Do you know who Zalatorius is?
Will?
What, is it Will? See, I don't know. I see Langer. That must be Bernard Langer. So I'm just saying, come on, help some of us. I mean, and I am one of those fans, Shannon, who I check out the Masters because it's a spectacle, just like I'm a hardcore Cowboys fan and NFL fan, and I know there are some people who just show up on Super Bowl Sunday. There's some people who only go to church on Easter. So, but I'm one of those guys with the Masters, and I'm one of those guys when Tiger Woods would either be in the Masters, and especially on a Saturday or a Sunday, if he was in contention and had a chance to win not only the Masters, but pretty much any tournament or any major, if it's happening with Tiger Woods, I would tune in. Yeah, I admit it. I'm one of those guys. So help us out.
And that's fair because Tiger is definitely a guy that moves the needle. I think they'll be missing that element this year, but the field of golfers is fantastic. There's a lot of young guns that are helping to drive the next generation of golf. And I've gotten into it more just because, like I've said, I've never really played. I would like to learn how to play.
Yeah.
I would like to be involved with it in some way. So this is as close as I can get right now.
Well, and I absolutely suck at golf. The few times I've played, I aggravate the people around me because I'm hitting the ball way off the course, and I'm holding up everybody in my group. However, there's like 3 or 4 times that you hit the ball just right. So, and with me, I'm such a spaz. The magic just happened, and I would swing the club and hit it, and you kind of feel the vibration in your elbow and in your forearm and in your wrist, and you see the ball go exactly where you want. And it's like, oh my God, that is such a cool feeling when it works, and it's very, very rare for me. It's usually awful for me, but I can see why an Andy Everett and so many other golfers become addicted to golf, because when you can be good at it, and it takes a lot of work to be good, obviously, it's an amazing game.
Yeah, the handful of times I've been to Topgolf, it's almost like bowling for me. Like of the entire frame and sets, I will probably gutter most of those, but the one time I do hit the pins, they're all getting knocked down.
Yeah.
And you're like, yes, I can do that again. I can repeat that. You want to watch me repeat that? I can repeat that.
It's a great feeling. Absolutely.
Yeah. If anyone wants to bring me out to the golf course and teach me how to swing, because I've been told that I swing it like a baseball bat. Like, I guess my just grip is automatically to how you would grip a baseball bat, and that's how I swing, and that is apparently not correct.
And are you open to taking lessons? Would the thing to do be get an instructor
I don't want to just go out there and be bad, because I'd
be
frustrated.
Well, and I can tell you firsthand, your fellow golfers get frustrated at you.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And I don't want to do that to people.
You don't need to be firing golf balls off the way Bryson DeChambeau was doing yesterday, where he just smacked him, threw his hand up, caught a golf ball, laid it down, and smacked another one. But there are tee times behind you.
Yes. And Bryson DeChambeau, to recap, because we don't know if we'll get a chance to recap this later, so I'll do it real quick. I'm keeping my eye on the phone as MLS Commissioner Don Garber expected to call in about 2 minutes at 8:40. But earlier in the show, Shannon, Tanner Carlson, and I all drafted 3 golfers. We had a draft, a kind of a snake order draft. Shannon had the first pick, then Tanner, then me, and we kind of did the snake all the way around. So the two losers in this competition, with 3 golfers each in the Masters, the 2 losers will have to put up profile pics on Twitter highlighting their most hated team. So for Shannon, obviously that's the Texas Aggies. For Tanner said pick an NFC East rival, so I said it's got to be the Washington football team for you. And for me, I guess it's the Dallas Mavericks, although I have grown over I used to really dislike the Dallas Mavericks when they were keeping the Spurs from advancing, but I have grown to kind of like that. I like Kristaps Porzingis. I like Luka Doncic. And over the years, I had it. Mark Cuban used to come to town and call the San Antonio Riverwalk a dirty little creek. And he's brilliant. It was like WWE. He was just trolling us. Yeah. So it looks like the phone call's coming in. Let's see if this happens. I see our good friend Dave Ayler on the phone line. So we may, and we're hopeful, be getting MLS Commissioner Don Garber. If not, then this might be the phone call at 8:40 that we got at 8:20. So we'll find out in a second. But so I'm trying to think, is there anybody I dislike more than the Dallas Mavericks?
Not about like one player.
Ooh, that's
put yourself in their jersey or something.
That's a possibility. He is there right now. This is fantastic. All right. We are so excited. He was in Austin yesterday to inspect the new Austin FC Q2 stadium. And by all reviews, I think he likes it. He is the commissioner of Major League Soccer, Don Garber. Don, welcome in.
Well, it's great to be here. And yes, I definitely loved it. It's fantastic. Great for the city, great for MLS, and people are going to be really, really, really pumped up to get out there and attend an Austin FC game. And now I'm off to their new training center, which is going to be one of the best in North America. So a good 2 days in Austin.
Very, very cool. We're so glad to have you in Austin, Don. And you have been very adamant over the years about a soccer-specific stadium for franchises in Major League Soccer. And obviously, it was a good position because it's all worked out, and now we see this beautiful stadium in Austin. And I know there were times in some cities where they said, well, we've got this big stadium here. This will work. What was your motivation over the years to say, we got to do it this way? We need a soccer-specific stadium that meets MLS requirements.
It just started that, we came on last. We were the last, men's major league to come in, and every other sport has those buildings, the cathedrals, if you will, there create the history and for fan experience that just brands the club. So, if you're in New York, what's a baseball game without going to Yankee Stadium? If you're a Cowboys fan, what's a game without going to the big Cowboys stadiums in Arlington, so Irvine? Same with our sport. We started from scratch and we didn't have our own home. So fans could really identify with their team and share those memories with their friends and families like they could in other sports. That was the first. And the second thing is, we're an emerging sport. So when we have 25,000 seat stadiums and we pack them to the rim and everybody's screaming and yelling and it's hard to get in because season tickets are sold out and the noise is just really powerful. By the way, as you'll see here in Q2, the stadium was designed to sort of capture the fan supporter noise. It just seemed to be the right thing to do, and 25 stadiums later, and many, 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 many billions of dollars of investments, partnerships with cities like Austin, we're doing the right thing. MLS wouldn't be where it is today if it wasn't for the stadium development process that we've been on the last 20 years.
Talking to MLS Commissioner Don Garber, I wanted to get your take on Matthew McConaughey, because he's not just a celebrity who wears the shirt of his favorite team. I mean, he is invested. He's at the groundbreakings. He's at the jersey announcements. He's all over Austin FC, as well as, anything he seems to do. He's always seems to be hands-on. But what's been it like to work with him and have him be so involved in this new MLS team?
You all know him well, right? He's one of the Austin sons. So he's a very special guy. And from the very beginning, he said, I don't want to be a celebrity investor. You have no shortage of great investors in the team. So I want to, help do what I do so well, which is kind of manage the culture connection between the club and the city. And he said, hey guys, I understand the city. You're coming in from the outside, and I can help you connect in ways that will make this team relevant. And, he works hard. He's very, very engaged. I just did a South by session with him. So he was interviewing me, man. He's a very, very, very impressive guy, and we're honored to have him. And I think he'll be very helpful. And interestingly, for all your listeners, there's a trend going on now with athletes and celebrities who, are successful and have made a lot of money doing what they do in their day jobs, now trying to use their expertise and capital to invest in sports. We have James Harden, who is an investor in our Houston team. We have Kevin Durant, an investor in our Philly team. A lot of basketball players. Russell Wilson and Sierra, investors in obviously a football guy in our team in Seattle. And obviously David Beckham was not just an investor in our Miami team, but as the sporting director. So interesting trend going on. I think everybody should keep a close look on it.
He is Major League Soccer Commissioner Don Garber. And Don, you just rattle off some of the biggest names in sports and celebrities. And it's funny, Shannon and I were talking earlier, Will Ferrell talking trash to Matthew McConaughey from Los Angeles to Austin. And even though Matthew McConaughey rightfully said, I don't want to be a celebrity owner, I want to roll up my sleeves and be a part of this new Austin FC franchise. But to have the Kevin Durants, the James Hardens, the Matthew McConaughey, I've got to believe, as successful as they are in their other disciplines, for them to realize what a big deal Major League Soccer is, has got to be just a big boon to you, the league, and what everybody's trying to accomplish.
It's been great. I'll tell you, it's funny having a conversation at an LAFC game with Will Ferrell, because he's not Will Ferrell, in character. He's just the normal Will Ferrell that cares about our sport. His wife played college soccer. He loves the team. He goes to every game, and he celebrates with his kids like he would at any sporting event. It's not like he's in character carrying on. And what I find so interesting, and Beckham really is the first one who has done it really in sports generally. And what I find so special about these guys, when they come into the boardroom, they are looking to learn from those people who've been successful in other businesses, because they see themselves ultimately as business people and trying to either build a brand or build a personality or try to understand how to properly make investments. Magic Johnson's an investor in our LA team, and Magic's one of the most successful investors, and certainly in his community, the Black community, in the history of our country. And people look up to him not because he's Magic, a world champion LA Laker, but because he's so successful. And I think that's great. I really do. It makes the league better. I think it's the sports industry better.
So, Don, the expansion of the MLS, obviously with Austin FC getting underway for the first time this season, but we do have the Charlotte expansion and the St. Louis expansion to look forward in the coming years. How much more expansion do you see this league getting?
Well, we've got one more to go to get us to 30, and that's when we're going to take a deep breath and slow down. That's a lot of growth, in a 20-year period. And remember, you don't think about that in the other leagues. Maybe they'll add a team or two like the NHL did it just recently in Seattle and Las Vegas. But, the expansion of the league happens over decades and decades. And with us, it had to happen in a very short period of time just to get coverage in the United States and Canada. So we'll stop at 30, and then I can't imagine at some point the league isn't larger than that. But, that's not a way of avoiding giving you the answer on that. And we just haven't gotten there yet. We got to get to 30, get that done, and then we'll take a deep breath and figure out what's from there. So it's a big country. Canada's a big country, and soccer's growing. I can't imagine we won't be larger at some point.
He is MLS Commissioner Don Garber. And Don, Shannon and I do this radio show from two different locations, and we combine two radio stations, one in Austin, one in San Antonio. And I'm down in San Antonio, and I know we've got soccer people here who love soccer, as you know, and I'm all in for Austin FC. I love it. I love everything about it, and I'm in. But there are certainly some people down here who would love someday to have Major League Soccer here. And I know expansion will stop at 30. You'll take a deep breath, but given two cities this close together, Austin and San Antonio, can you see a future down the line, 5 years, 10 years, whenever, when San Antonio might get another look for an MLS franchise?
It's a great question. And, we were looking at San Antonio before we were looking at Austin. And I remember being down there, 15 years ago. And at that time, we were even thinking of moving a team in the early 2000s. That I remember meeting with the mayor and so many different city people, and there's a very vibrant minor league team there that's owned by the basketball team. It's a great ownership group. But ultimately we decided to come here for a lot of reasons.
Gonna wrap him.
We're very, very committed to that. But I always look at this business. Life's a long time. You just never know how things develop over time. Rivalries are a big driver of the success of our league. Right now, we've got to build the rivalry between Houston Dynamo and FC Dallas, and now Austin FC. We'll see how that builds out and see how our country continues to develop. As you both know, this country is going to look very different 10 years from now than it does today, with all the demographic shifts and people leaving cities and moving to new cities that provide them with jobs or a more comfortable life or closer to family or the things that they love to do. So I've made it sort of a pact to myself that, try not to predict where things can go, because when you get there, it's going to look totally different.
MLS Commissioner Don Garber. Don, we know how busy you are. It's a whirlwind 2-day tour of Austin, and congratulations on all the success. And Austin and Central Texas and South Texas and all of Texas, I think, is excited about Austin FC. We just love what you do. We love that there is now MLS in Austin. Thanks so much for taking the time with us this morning. We appreciate it.
My pleasure. Take care, folks. Hope to see you at a game.
Absolutely. I got to imagine, Shannon, he will be at opening night in Q2 Stadium.
Oh, yeah. I would imagine a lot of the higher-ups will be. I hope to be there.
Well, won't you be eating a taco next to Matthew McConaughey?
I mean, that is my rightful place.
All right. Well, he was cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And nice of him to take the time to rearrange based on his schedule to take time to talk to us this morning.
True. Yeah.
He is a very busy man. He said he was heading out to that developmental practice facility today, which just opened officially last week. It's also just an amazing area where they will get a lot of work done out there.
Yeah. Don Garber, the Commissioner of Major League Soccer since 1999. We were talking about that earlier, Shannon. Only Gary Bettman, the NHL commissioner, a longer tenure. He's been around since 1993. By the way, Don Garber is on Twitter. I love his Twitter handle, Shannon. @the Soccer Don. Perfect.
Yeah, it took a while for me to find that yesterday.
It's the perfect Twitter handle. All right, Shannon Salty Sweeney, that was fun. Best of luck with your 3 golfers. Dustin Johnson, John Ram, and Matthew Wolf. We will see how our golfers do in the first round, the big competition between you, me, and Tanner Carlson.
I'd wish you the same, but I don't want to.
You want to pummel us and humiliate us, and you just might. Our thanks to Dave Ayler, who was always outstanding. Tanner Carlson. We will do this again in 21 hours. And, of course, our thanks to Major League Soccer Commissioner Don Garber, his thoughts on his tour of Austin, and the future looking very, very bright for Austin FC. And iHeartRadio is the official English language partner of Austin FC, which is cool. For Shannon Salty Sweeney, for Dave Ayler, your soundscape stylist, we'll see you in 21 hours. Enjoy the Masters. You've been listening to The Chris Duel Show. Woo! See y'all later.